Your black kid on the fattest style. Street over street is my everyday. But you know I gotta stop when you drop the link. If I was working at the club, would not pay. The old man fight Diddy, he got something to say. I like the rap, I'm Puerto Rican and Haitian. And if I do it, I'm a Zulu nation. So we in the jam, man, we can get down. Now let's not go, like a H-Town. You're not beating me over the bedroom wall. When I'm up the street, this is how I walk. I'm pretty little, something on the real street. This is how I really get. Talking about you. You know I took you right. The seconds on my mouth, I'm holding it right. When I was in the place, I don't want to stay. But I couldn't try now, but you couldn't relate. You couldn't relate. You couldn't relate. Switch out the way that we made the wall. Drop it insane, drop it up the wall. Staring at the door, reach very strong. Stroke it in the dry, stroke it into the floor. Take it on the hand, with your body loose. Now we're all about you, take it to the stage. You give me my mama and I'll be your boy. I ain't my little boy, now that ain't my boy. You give me your shorty and my ill coming boy. Not to come across, that's the talk of a hustle. My hood got the like I've been what? My name's Wayne. This baby gets together by the end of the week. She said, no, take with me a hoe. I said, how you feel? I ran from you. I ain't listen to you. Oh, wow. I get down over the bar. I put it down like that. I have you your arms. Well, swinging after my cheek. Keep it on the dance, don't keep it street. See, I'm not taking it, I'm busy in the street. If I'm under the room, and I'll just keep low. Let me take a little hand from the side of the boat. Let me get it from the back, girl, I won't get her right. I'm so funny, I'm kind of got it for you. Shiny light for the extra beat. Stay you with the hammer and LG. They go the abstract, really so on ice and characters of me. Never ever on mic. Show me let me tell you about my own fight that has to do with my stuff, and it ain't nothing nice. It ain't nothing nice. Ain't nothing nice.
Live comes by with the God. I do not own the rights to the music, so please don't cut
Can you
I request that we'll come on my podcast.
Shit don't stay good. Leave a little bit closer, see. Roses smell like
No, just started real soon, so stay tuned.
I know you like to play your shit don't stay good. Lean a little bit closer, see. Roses smell like yeah, roses smell like Caroline, she's the
Don't find what it makes.
And try to make up the mirror and crash into a ditch. Just saying, she's going down to leave it to the right. The time it takes to look inside and feel right. And feel guys, feel down. Come on, girl. Yeah, I know that's right. Your shit don't stay good. Lean a little bit closer, see. Roses really smell like boo. Yeah, roses really smell like boo. Yeah, I know you like to fake your shit don't stay good. Lean a little bit closer, see. Roses really smell like boo. Yeah, roses really smell like boo. She got a hot body, but her attitude is body. When I met her at a party, she was talking that money. I said, sorry, if you call me, she said, party on you. I said, darling, you sound like a prostitute. All later. Oh, so you one of them kids, that cause I haven't dizzy. But baby, I'm an AGC, drinking off this bitch off. Over me up, your way to eat up. Deep places me up, dinner all me up. Jump over me, no go. All the all sex ladies, yes, it's all this job. We don't want to get involved with our law. It's just the whole brothers in the courtroom. I want to see the support for our support you. I know you like to fade, your shit don't say, but lean a little bit closer, see. Roses really smell like boo. Yeah, roses really smell like boo.
So yes, the Electric Dragon, Speak Your Truth Friday. What this is about, it's about healing drama, healing trauma. Part the noise outside, but it's understanding what we need to do to get out of our mental prison. Understanding how the ego uses trauma and small drama to keep feeding itself. So there's a judge-free zone. We ask questions for understanding and understand what's going on. It's a free event. All you need to do, bring an open heart and open mind. Right now we just vibing, no pressure. 420 friendly. We right here at 977 West Commercial Boulevard. We're probably one block south of Lockhart Stadium, right off power line. Put the address up. So we do this each and every other Friday. Just coming together, because the quarantine had us so separated. We're coming together with a live audience, giving feedback to what's going on with Trump. That mental prison we in. Like, wow, how do we get out of that? The demons of depression, anxiety, PTSD, all of that. We're going to show you. I'm showing you how to breathe. It don't cost you nothing but a little time. Let's just come by. We pass the mic. And we got rules here. Each person got 2 uninterrupted moments to speak about what's going on. If we have a certain topic and you kind of go off topic, we're going to parking lot there and get back on topic. So we got order. Respect the mic. When one person talking, let them talk, let them be heard to understand what's going on. Man, it's Friday night. Come vibe with the God. Electric Dragon, 977 West Commercial Boulevard. We're going to go back in here and just vibe with DJ Special K, baby. Thank y'all people that tuning in. Any questions? Yeah, you got any questions or comments? Leave them in the comment section. I will check them periodically. Y'all, when we start this speaking truth, we got a question. I will come back to the camera. I will check that, and I will give you a chance to express how you feel or give a response. All right? Stay tuned. Bye with the boy.
Of course it is.
And what we talk in, what we talk in, every so often,
Black 10 more minutes and I'm ready to work. I got 10 more bitches, I'm a bit of a side. It's a bird, girl, you know that I ride. I hear some call on the right. Call on the top. Revelation, that's the whole life. I used to wear a tight drum in the free. Some let's have one there, I'm seven next. Some of them have me, y'all niggas got this red. Pull up in the bed, game, bill, game, bed. $10,000 outfit, bitch. Yes, you just in your crib. I'm rich enough to make a woman get it much stress. Let's go get it there. Eat that. They pay off some money. Get your kiss now. Get a woman. Switch it to the bitch. You want girl. You want girl. You want girl. You want girl. Put your hand in the air. You want girl. Put your hand in the air. You want girl. 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 This toast to the guys. We've seen each other once and already knew something twice. So stay like the most moving on, but let me say, after the ignition last time, you were away. Ever since I don't have you, I'm wasting time and have the issue that somehow you are wasting time. I don't really like kids to try and make the mind. I just think that the attitude you have to make around. Sexual creation, catch all action. I reply, I'm also an artist, baby. I can catch you. And the friend, I'm trying to run out of thing. So she will turn over what she said. For the money, cause I'm doing all the things I got. I wonder, hey, would you still want me? Won't you still call me? Still call me? Give me loving you, loving you.
Trust me, I know it's dangerous. Go, get up, let's check up. I'm good with big guns. Yeah, they grab things. I can be called the tricks. The west way with the things. I'm living it up and in the secret, so I can get it repeat. I'm afraid about me, it's the power of the you. Well, I got a life, you're going to really just how. Gotta keep it that running, and that's on my life. If it wasn't for the money, everything I got. She probably wouldn't like me, but I keep it in her relationship. Be quite nice, sit yourself in, who does it like me? And I can't see.
For the money, cause I'm doing all the things I got. I wonder, hey, would you still want me?
Won't you call me? Still calling you. Be loving you. Loving you.
Why you wanna take it on me? Honey, my life is not for this love. Pride, God, screaming, and right there, like, y'all, no, what do you think I'm leaving? Get a bit too cold, it's close to the heart, it's a little more, it's cases and lawyers, I'm coming with him from Mr. Glorious room. Still on the mind in my shoe. It was just a heart that I do. It's the way that I feel.
I'm doing all the things I've got. I wonder, hey, you still want me? Won't you call me? Still calling you. Be loving you. Loving you. Now how many years does it take to make you believe I'm done? All these years that I had your kids. How could you wonder? I'm through the rain and the thunder. You know I'm hiding that pain, won't you wonder? Tell me, baby, do you still wonder? Yeah, I'm that chick from INC. So I'm trying to get this tricks and me straight to the top, y'all all gon' see. Why we still here? On the day that we still here. You didn't think that we would be here. Ain't no one saying this is our year. I'm doing all the things I've got. I wonder, hey, you still want me? Won't you call me? Still calling you. Be loving you. Loving you. See my days are gone without you. I'm hurting, mama, me. You know my heart can't take no more. I can't keep running back to you. See my days are gone without you. I'm hurting, mama, me. You know my heart can't take no more. I won't keep running back to you. No more broken hearts, no more telling like me. Looking like I got my head on right, so now I see. No more giving you everything, no more taking my me. Somebody's without you, I'm hurting my mind. Keep running back to me. Somebody's without you. Keep running back to you. Glad to wake up every day without you on my brain. No more wailing up tonight. No more having a fussy fight. Proud to say that I will never make the same mistake.
Come outside, have a conversation with you. So a lot of work I do, it's about, hold on, can you see me clearly? 1 second. That made it worse. That's horrible. Apologize. Okay. Yeah, so my work stems from my mental health issues. That's what propels me and keeps propelling me, because The feeling of me being alone and knowing I understand that what I got going on perpetuates that mental health because we feel like we're alone, and that's the worst feeling to have besides powerless and being disconnected. So every Friday we come here and we speak about our traumas and different tools, and we practice meditation and breathing, showing how important it is to get out that amygdala and get that prefrontal cortex, get out that ego and that trauma-based, fear-based system that we in, and get a new higher knowingness, understanding what you are from the inside out. You are not your experiences. You are the person that experienced it, But we hook to our emotions and stories, and we tell a story to reiterate that emotion. And the emotion makes us have a disposition of depression, of anxiety, of PTSD. Not saying you don't feel the way you feel, but if we become cognitive of what we're actually thinking inside of our head and our self-talk, that'll get rid of half your anxiety, and then understand how we're breathing. When I catch myself, my shoulders up tight, and I'm breathing shallow out my mouth because my throat is dry, and not out my nostrils, I realize, oh my goodness, I'm in a lower vibration. I'm susceptible to that depression because yeah, I still have suicidal thoughts sometimes, but I'm able to analyze the situation, make a proper adjustment. I can't control my thoughts. I only can control how I respond to my thoughts. So we come here live at Let Your Drag. See the address right here. Feel Fort Lauderdale. Come and share your experiences. Come show the ego that you're not alone. And the ego is probably from my childhood trauma. You might have been molested. You could have been kidnapped. Um, whatever whatever it is, it's possible that you can transmute that because you're still here. I'm not saying it didn't happen. That's not true. But we don't have to continue and perpetually put our energy on this. Keep telling that story. Keep telling that story. That's almost becoming a victimhood. We want to get out of victimhood and get into ownership of our own power. And actually truly what we did to contribute actually what's going on in that particular moment. Understanding our emotion, that's so important. Intelligence over emotion. We can use our emotions, but our emotions should be the last judge before we make that decision. That shouldn't be it. No. We want to understand what's going on, so we don't want to judge on our emotions. Our emotions going here is going to give us a judgment. We want to pause on that and get an understanding. And it's a tool I'm working on myself and I'm giving to my client. The first thought is a knee-jerk response, so don't go on that. Go on your second thought. Let that first thought come up like a bird. Analyze it, and most of the time, pardon the noise, most of the time that first thought isn't truly how you want to represent yourself. It's the second thought. I'm looking at my camera, man. Why don't somebody donate me a Apple 13 or something to record with? My phone feeling kind of cracked my screen, but anyway, that none do with the information and wisdom that I'm giving you. Close your eyes and just listen to me. You feel me? Compassion can be seen by a blind person and heard by somebody that can't hear. Work on being vulnerable. Let me ask you a question. When the last time you had a good cry? Like when the last time you cried? Crying is a very good form of release. Us as melanated men, us as men in general, we need to learn to, well, melanated men, we were taught to be tough and not cry. It's okay to cry, but that's a beautiful form of release. We have so much pressure built up in us from the lack of release. It's time to release it. And very soon, you're going to find on different locations asking people questions and interviewing them about mental health, about the ego, about trauma, about the demons that we call depression, anxiety, how we are in a mental prison within our mind. Like, how are we, I call it alien thinking, because Alien thinking meaning we're not familiar with it. We're trying to do something that's not natural to what we are as a spiritual being. We're working on being a spiritual being but going by earthly rules. That's alien thinking. That's why you feel the way you feel, because you're doing things that goes against your natural spirit. I felt that myself, you know. But sometimes we have to have experience to understand. Mm-hmm. Whatever you think, that's your reality. That's your perception. If it's based on trauma, it's based on lack, it's based on fear. Oh my goodness. 76.5% of the world is based on negativity and trauma. So it's so easy to engage in that. So finding positivity in every situation, that's alien thinking. You want to go against the common consciousness of what's going on. It's lack, it's fear, all those lower vibrations. I choose not to engage in it. I choose to speak my peace, you know. I choose to breathe the way I breathe and allow every person I meet to be my guru or my teacher to teach me something about myself, whether it be spiritual, whether it be emotional, whether it be social. I'm looking for some type of, every time I'm in contact with somebody, I'm actually probing for some way I can get better. Can I listen better? Can I accept responsibility better? Can I actually listen better while interrupting? Can I truly listen without being defensive? You know, so I'm always basically sparring with myself, learning how. And now that I box and I wrestle, we don't fight in boxing and we don't fight in wrestling, because we do that energy can be used against you. So fighting against something is illusion, it's resistance. That fight and that power can be used against you. I've been in plenty of triangle chokeholds around my neck. All I can do is relax and breathe. You would think you panic and struggle. The more you resist, that chokehold will get tighter and tighter, and then you can't breathe. Now you feeling helpless. Now you feeling helpless. That's not a good way to feel. That's why I became a spiritual coach, because I help myself through depression. And I offer my services to people. Go to namaste.com, take the free self-eval based on the chakras and different physical emotion that you're going through. You can't sleep at night, that could be a chakra open. You can't focus, you can't when you're meditating, that could be a third eye open. You know, our nervous system has to be healed. How you breathe, how you talking to yourself. Now that's important. Any comments? Hey man, give me a comment. If what I'm saying to you makes sense, you can relate to it. Type yes or hell yeah, I can dig it. Or that shit diggable, man. It's feedback. I don't wanna be like a professor. I wanna have a conversation. I wanna vibe. I wanna feed up your energy. So drop in the comments where you at. I'm actually mainly on YouTube. So if you can kindly go to YouTube, Namaste Thug Wellness, and tap in that and hit comment, we'd have a conversation. A lot of people ask me what about my scars. I remember when I would have locks. I don't call them dread, I had locks. I started going bald up top. And I was in New York doing something. It was super hot that day, and the top of my head was burning. So I bought a scarf to cover my head to protect myself from the sun. But once I kept wearing it helped me feel so much more connected to that consciousness that's beyond space and time. So now that I have cut all my hair off, I still rock this to show the grace of the Most High, of the then that's beyond space and time, to my uniqueness. You know, to keep that crown chakra covered, to be my unique self, to be my organic self. So the Most High is always gonna grace Himself with thyself. You are God, so grace yourself, robe yourself with the best of the best smell, the best clothes, the best jewels. Why wouldn't the Most High glorify you? Because you are that. Where your energy at? That's what I want to know. It's Friday night. We vibing vibrating. Its frequency is vibration and energy. So we vibing. Like you digging what I'm saying? Like conversate with your God, man. Don't just sit and suck it all up. Give it back. Don't be selfish. Sow some seed. Yeah, I ain't asking for money. I'm asking for your comment. I'm asking for your presence. It's free. If I ask for money, you just gonna give it to me? Working on my pimping, baby. You feel me? Spiritual pimping, baby. Cause before my mind was pimping me. I ain't on that no more, bitch. I was using me, abusing me. Now I had to flip that script and transmute it. I want to say spiritual pimping. Them thoughts come up that not high vibration. I use them, transmute and get even higher. I can't control my thoughts. I control how I respond to them. 90-10 rule. 90% is how you respond to it. 10% the situation. So when we hear, man, if one person show up, we gonna get on. Right now it's Friday, a lot of things going on. My classmates, they vibing somewhere. Class 92, Dillon High School, that's what's up. All the high school, what's up to Ely, what's up to Fort Lauderdale, what's up to Scranton, what's up to St. Thomas, what's up to Hollandale. Who else, man? If I forgot your high school, I apologize, but it's all love, man. You know why? We all breathe in lovely air. Regardless of the color of your skin, regardless of your finances, regardless of where you stay at, regardless if you're a saint or a sinner, if you breathe in your nose, you will be blessed with oxygen to breathe. Who am I to judge? Just breathe, baby. Hey, how you breathing today? Yes. We're from 2 to 2,000, just like that. 2,000 people watching international. What's up to my people in England? What's up to my people in Portugal? Dominican Republic, I see ya. Puerto Rico in the house. One time for my Jamaican family, what's up? Yeah, all love. Soon comes. We're doing marriage retreat very soon, couple retreats. If you got a location and you got room to house people, call me, let's network. You paying rent on somewhere you're not staying at, let's use that and make some money to house retreats and house people to come in. I got the food, I got the fitness, I got the breather, we can do yoga, let's network. If you got farmland somewhere, I got fresh fruits and vegetables, let's come there, let's have a meditation party, learn how to breathe and transcend their trauma. That was about unity, coming together to be one. Show you how to transform. Yeah. One time for mental health and mental wellness, man, it's serious. If you know somebody got mental health issues, man, sometimes just call and check on them. But sometimes just hearing that phone ring and somebody calling you is just enough. Don't be selfish, man. Reach out, man. Text. We're gonna go back in here, man, because one thing with me, I don't like sweat, to be real with you. So know thyself is first, man. We're going back in. I can feel it in the air. Bro in here vibing.
Something going on. I feel funny, can't tell me nothing different. Then I know it's pushing. Things are wishing, setting there like state vision. I still close my eyes, I still see vision. Still hear that voice in the back of my mind. So what I do, I still take heed, I still listen. I still paint that perfect picture. I still shine bright like a wrist. My words still super. I know you can't, won't get it. You chose to ride that shit, suck with it. I'm still afloat. I ain't the captain of the yacht, but I'm on the boat. I ain't acting what I'm not, knowing that I don't. You back like you will, but I know you won't. I read between the lines of the eyes get brown, your hands shaking as you smile. So long, staring at him. They go bananas. I'm on my money, ain't tricks on me. I ain't skits on me. Ain't nobody drop on me. Somebody trying to sit on me. I hear this voice in the back of my mind. Like, man, it's like nothing something. Before they hurt you, we they body like 85% communication I wrote, 85% where 10% of this man, another 5 times struggle. Just know you. I'm gonna show you the puppet master. Some other rats. They'll watch you pumping that. Play cards go against all lies. If you miss it, most those stars. Without picture playing, stretches to my places. Stop. You got down waiting. I get still stage, so levitate. Why do I speak blasphemy? No one that ever asked for me. Ask for my sins. No brother for his right for me. Go through with some good people asking me. Ask for me. I'm still circling a lot before walking. Not rich, I'm just still walking. Same black market, same actually still the same market. Damn, put it in the egg, not said. It ain't us, we all out of thing. It's a good bad karma thing. It's a song, man, I'm sick. Sweat this, I'm sick.
You're gonna learn today. You're gonna learn today. That's right. Hey, women took over this shit, motherfucker. Y'all right, yo. I'm sure y'all live no. People say y'all will. My blood is made for and I was so and I did son. And I was really the chat in the school. I hold it out of the got me into everybody like a make over. And I open my door. My like home girl. Bring it forward. And I did it before. Now I'm lying. Somebody is me, but if you can make it, stop playing. Got $100 on my list. You're the first one that I'm selling in the club. Call jewelry, I said, yo, wanna be like this, then going up, I'm sure I'm flowing. Got a mouth full of coke, my booty's holding up by the end of the time. I just had to thank you, get on my body, say, hey, got me sure you could get right, got my this hole. I'm my stomach from the red hole, I'm done to the weird engine. I'm my face, trying to take it to the shit, the shit that don't be seen. I'm on the whole trying to let it cool to the hole, but the Cadillac up, just moving too slow. Ain't too much stunts, already know it's the street, we'll verify cash west. Man, like a nigga that never had shit, looking through my baby, that's a bad shit. Like a nigga that never had shit, looking through my baby, that's a bad shit. Like a nigga that never had shit, looking through my baby, that's a bad shit. Like a nigga that never had shit, looking through my baby, that's a bad shit. They got stuff too much, they so pretty like a bad so you don't let me do what I do. Rock my holy rock I do. You know the day I shine, I'm so shine. Right top of the line, pop out the wine, red with my killer niggas, all bullshit, niggas, rap up, get paid, niggas, ride out the head of they head, niggas, look, you like my white time, you like my ring time, you like the way looking hot, play time. I got so many carrots like a fish in the rain, got so much
my high school. The diamonds when I wear it, everything in my clip, bubbling fly. Everything in my clip, it's floating high. Acting like a nigga that ain't never had shit. Looking through my pen, that's a man. Acting like a nigga that ain't never had shit. Looking through my pen, that's a man. Acting like a nigga that ain't never had shit. Looking through my pen, that's a man. Acting like a nigga that ain't never had shit. Acting like a nigga that ain't never had shit. Acting like a nigga that ain't, acting like a nigga that ain't, all top, line right, bitch, move, gotta be touched, bitches gotta be dead, they don't understand, niggas move, gotta be dead, nigga beat it or something, when you feed it or fucking, don't get jammed, gotta better see you don't know, I be fucking and ducking, straight thugging and flushing, I like pussy, but I can turn no more, flushing, I don't be trusting no doubt, I can go all the way out, I'm a hustler, this is set, I'm hustling through your mouth, it's not my real estate, so chop in the night, I'm kind of west, move the night, leave on my mind, never wind it down. You need to put your number 9 in your behind. I ain't nice, look high, and I ain't trying all my time. And when I feel time swinging and I'm like a second fight. I talk unless I go, I don't talk. So this is just the line. If it ain't just the line, all time. You go respect a nigga mind. If it ain't just the line, all time. You go respect a nigga mind. I stay shot. My hope check. Keep a pocket for the money. Thank you for all the these hoes stand out and get real straight knocked out. Stand out and put out your own house. I be going on the floor cause bitch ain't shit. Everything I fuck this stuff like that. Me and my bitch, she can talk bitch. You don't believe that, then tell the teeth. We ain't steady, bitch. I got the plan, you got the plan, but I got the change. Now this is that put the change on the plane. I'm real fine bitches in the city on my team. Big time exposition with the name for us. I want to see all my homies get doing their feet. Keep storming, gangster keep, so I can see all my homies on me. Bad bitch quick, that's the mile I follow. No one sees with the shit, that's the mile I follow. If you real, hold on the line, that's what we're gonna have. If you take the tour for me, you ain't no bad. You stay ride like somebody in the middle of the street. You live like I'm in the street. You live like the TV. You gon' respect the beat. Why I force you to know? You gon' respect the beat. Why I wish I was home? Get hard, don't lie, no other way to lie. Ain't no bitches in the face, just feel like a child. We in front, not behind, nothing about on the side, not on the side, nothing. Move, get flipped to the top, I mean, like, yeah, we know it's for real, money, and with the bitch, yeah, you gon' get it. I'm talking about that, think about mine, no, who's not there, and I'm making stay line. If it ain't, and the stay line, move all the time, you gon' respect me, a line, move. If it ain't, and the stay line, move all the time, you gon' respect a nigga, line, move. That's why we ride in the world with the black girl. Keep my niggas on self-protection. Just in case you rep and they take it so rep. I'm rocking the money and that's all we gon' see. Better watch out for the beats on the chop. Pop a nigga and we gon' see. 4 beats in the black on black. We playing in the lane. I'm a okay for trying to cut it up in brains. Looking for king for my people say it's a shame. They got each of my toes. So the game, I'm a duck taper. I'm a young money maker. These hoes, I can't be no baker. Place your nose and out your gate. I'm raking the download. All out there, I need you. Ain't that cool? If you got it high on the field, me and my niggas ride. And we here on the side. That's the feel. I'm breaking with the feel. Yeah, the I'm not saying with me, niggas just ain't home. Some old shit, man, so they wrong, they stop all. But I do look like a fuck. Who's that looking in the game? around with no brain dumbing. Cause I can give most niggas the cancer. The people want to take a crime. Answer. Nigga ain't no president of none. Nigga, me when I shoot you in the run. Nigga, see, I ain't gonna show you no love. Nigga, ain't all the motherfuckers love. Oh, let it go.
Oh, that's cool. So where we at here? Let me see.
Hey, man, you can give me 12 and 12.
All right. What type of flavor?
But I know I don't.
Everything. Where we at here? Okay. And like I told y'all, if nobody came, we gonna have real recognized real podcast. That's what we gonna do. Regardless who show up, we gonna have a vibing conversation. So that's what it is. So today, me and my brother been going backwards and forth about different ways of dealing with the ego that we're talking about, right? Dealing with the ego. So yeah.
Yes.
So
What's going on?
hey, we super live, man. We are super live. Mm-hmm. We can stay down here. How you feel? You can have more room. You can walk around. Oh, gotcha. You right here, 'cause I had set up when we was DJ. Okay. You know type of instrumental we can put in the back for like the background noise? Yeah. Hey man, thank y'all too for staying tuned, man. I'm not sure where y'all staying tuned at, but y'all locked and loaded. Y'all gonna get a surprise tonight. This is for the people who actually ready and open to receive it, not for everybody. Y'all can be doing anything else. Y'all sitting here vibing with us. Y'all watching us grow. Let me put that button up. So this segment here, when you and I speak, my brother always had an inclination of starting a podcast. So his podcast is Real Recognized Real. And just have a real conversation. Because you can recognize who real and fake. If you find someone that's real, you definitely would have a conversation with them. And not to judge, but to understand, you know, they may going through that you've been through, real, recognize real. Straight up. That's what it's about. Ain't no pressure. We just vibrating. We just vibrating. That's all we doing. Different tools and techniques, glass sound bowl, something different, you know? So it's the same way you'll see anything else in the grassroots of it. Something trying to get situated right now. Yeah, please. Definitely. Yeah, on the stage, it's definitely too bright on that stage. It's definitely too bright on that stage without it's a vibe behind it. Yeah, that wave. Yeah. I thought you were gonna be behind that talking, so there was super lit behind there, but it was different. Okay.
You good?
Yeah, that's perfect. Yeah, I was just thinking just a little bit. Like a white noise almost. Uh-huh. Real, recognize real, man. A lot of times we talk about things that lead to procrastination. It's just time to do it. And we got a platform. Let me start off, man. What's great with you today, man? Where your energy at, man? It's about vibing, man. You know, that's what it's about. Y'all both of us on there? We'll just put it right behind here and get both of us.
I think you got more because you got two.
Oh, gosh. So let me see if you sit here. Let me see if I can be able to put it here to get both of us.
Yeah, get both of us.
How that look right there?
Perfect. You can back up some of the products.
What about here? For dig it in?
You can see it.
Okay. Man, who was talking about we need some cameras, man? We got this here, man. You feel me? We make it happen, man. So, it's interesting because it's not often that you get two dudes that really don't know each other, but on the same vibration, and you don't need that much time to know how your vibe gonna be with somebody. So, real recognize real. So the conversation we're having backwards and forth is like, how do we get out of a mental prison? Like, you know, a lot of times we have physical bondage, and that's one thing. But when it comes to mental bondage, like, how did you get out of that? Let's talk about my experiences. How did you? What are you doing now, going through getting that mental bondage?
Well, first, we try to figure out what is mental bondage.
Mm-hmm.
So mental bondage, I was mentally bonded just by certain relationships. Being in certain relationships causes me to be mentally bonded. That's how I feel. So the things that I did to escape mental bondage or mental imprisonment was to figure out where the issue was coming from. Why did I feel like I was in prison? So that's the first part of the solution. Figure out why do you feel the way that you feel. So I knew that it started with self. Just the way that I look at things, the way that I perceive things, and allowing the negative thoughts to take over, you know, my way of thinking. So I had to work on myself first to escape the mental prison.
Can I stop you for a second? Let's go back to you said a feeling. So most of us taught not to feel nothing. So now you saying like you feeling something, like that's something different. Like when you say you have to touch to a feeling, like what feeling you talking about?
A feeling as in, all right, what is a prison? A prison is something that locks you down physically.
So say a relationship, feeling that I felt like I was locked down mentally. So I couldn't escape the situation mentally. Why? Because I was still making decisions to do things like I was single. So thinking as a single man and being single was totally different. Moving as a single man and being in a relationship was totally different. So I allowed myself to feel like I was mentally in prison. So the feeling just came from feeling like I'm mentally controlled.
That what I control. If somebody say go left, you just gonna go right just because they say go right. And that's a hell of a thing. That goes, we're talking about that. That's the ego. That very ego driven. Like I'm a man, so I gotta. And when we trapped in that, we can be free, but we can still be imprisoned our mind based on a belief system and the ego. Speaking of ego, what's your relationship between you and your ego?
Me and my ego, we used to go to war a lot. It's such a battle. But the ego is something serious. It's deep. And being able to be in tune with your ego, it takes a lot. You have to humble yourself.
Dang, say that again, bro.
To be in tune with your ego, it takes a lot. You have to humble yourself. First, you have to understand yourself. You have to understand the difference from self and ego.
Break that down, bro. So, okay, so that's a good segue. So, what helped you determine between self and ego? Because a lot of people don't recognize that it's such a spell. But you said it, so you were able to recognize the difference between the two.
I knew the difference. The ego part of me was selfish. The ego part of me was not being humble, not being patient. Understanding self, it allowed me to not be selfish. Understand self, it allowed me to patience. Understand self allowed me to love self. Not letting the ego take over the love. So it's a balance.
So you said something so key. The ego taking over the love. So we were texting back and forth today. You said out of the blue. He told me I'm deep. He tripping. He texted me. I gotta starve my ego. I'm like, what? Oh hell no! Like, I said, bro, don't do that. That's a trap of the ego because it needs resistance for you to fight against to get your attention. So what we do, he said, love it. When you love it, you're not returning that energy. You're not letting your pain and that person's pain connect with each other. You don't want that. When you invoke the power of love, unconditional love, you just sit there, you just kind of smile and love on it. That shit gonna dissipate because they want a battle. When you're not battling, it's gonna kind of dissipate. Like, you know what? That's dope. So we was taught a war mentality because we're at war with ourselves. Like we don't want to cry. Like I had a good cry the other day. Most dudes don't want to cry. They at war with crying. Like hell no, I ain't gonna cry. You know how much pressure you walking around with inside your head because somebody told you some bullshit that you shouldn't cry. If you trying to increase your wealth, increase your wealth within, if you don't release that bullshit and cry, like there's no room. So understanding how the ego use us based on the old alpha male, what we shouldn't do based on some motherfucker who probably ain't have more than fifth grade education, it had nothing to do with spirituality. So we got to unlearn the bullshit and recognize truly what makes you tick as a spiritual being having experience as a male. That makes sense, bro?
Of course. I feel like on that topic, being able to cry is a sign of freedom. It's a release of pressure, just say a pipe, full of pressure with no release valve. Eventually, it's gonna bust. It'll burst. You know, in life, we go through different trials and tribulations, and people deal with situations different. Fact. I was the type of person that learned off my own mistakes instead of learning off other people's mistakes. So what happened was, I realized that I was hurting myself more than anything instead of growing. So I'm in the process of growing as an individual now.
How does that look? You say because what you're saying is you saying some key stuff. Like most people, they go through it, but you said you growing through it.
Growing,
Like how does it feel to grow through? So is it comfortable? Is it
going through it is very uncomfortable. But it's allowing me to deal with it. When you grow through it, you deal with it. So you look at things totally different. You make a negative or positive.
So what you just described is called mental alchemy. Like no matter what somebody give you, it's up to you to transmute it and turn it into something different. So we can't control our thoughts, but we can control how we respond to it. So you might call me whatever, but as I'm growing, I'm not going to allow you to trigger me emotionally because that's the ego. I'm recognizing that. So now as I transmute that and I recognize which one I decide to do, that's how we go through it, being aware of where our conscience is trying to be kidnapped. And something else, man, like trauma. We speak about that. The main trauma we have is fear. We were speaking earlier about how we're hypersensitive of fear, and you mentioned Mike Tyson's interview. His main motive was fear. That's that when we in fear, we're in survival mode. We're like, oh shit, I'm about to die. That dumping so many chemicals to make you fight, to make you run and make you free, which is cortisone. That isn't good. That's basically it's a slow suicide. Instead of you blowing your brains out, you eating the gunpowder spoon by spoon. That's a slow death. When we come out of survival mode, which is fear, and get to unconditional love and release that, and we move in love, we're not at war with nothing. We got to be protected because we're moving in love. We're not moving in fear. We're moving in creation mode. Now I'm creating my reality based on my new perception. But we're talking about perception. Like what we talking about earlier about anger, or like you become angry because of thought that you're perceiving. Like, oh, motherfucker, try me. That's not even what's going on, but your ego is 1/10,000th of a second ahead of your reality. So it captures your reality, it copies and pastes how it wants you to see reality to feed itself, and it gives you like, here you go, and you off and running. But you said I'm growing through it, so you catching the bullshit, meaning the old belief system that wants you to feed it by that petty drama. Like, no, most people never had experience to sit with themselves.
Exactly.
You did 15 years in bars, so you knew it was in prison. I'm in prison inside my mind without nobody. Got so much more freedom, so it's more difficult to recognize. I didn't know I was a slave. So Margaret Garvey said, only way you can free a slave, you gotta know you're a slave. I thought I was free to recognize I wasn't free. I was caught up in my mind based on my perception. Like, where did it come from? Like, oh shit, my trauma. So if I want to release that trauma, I gotta start telling a new story. Like, we got a habit of telling bullshit. We gotta start change that habit, start telling joyful stuff. Because now, like Bruce Lee say, when we speak certain words, ourselves don't know if it's real or fake. We speaking spells on ourselves. We can't even play with lower vibration words. And when we speak that, we speak into existence, wellness, and health. They got something called a placebo. You heard about that before?
What is it?
Placebo. It's like a fake sugar pill that they give people a pill. They say for this right here to make it help, right? Placebo.
Mental.
They got something called nocebo.
Okay.
Nocebo is a way of thinking that makes you physically sick because you're always thinking about trauma, fear, lack. Like most people talk to themselves like shit, but this was a physical person, you wouldn't do that. But if we learn how to talk to ourselves better and accept ourselves, and when we're talking about self-love, meaning sit down and realize that's not my thought, that's my thought. Most people don't do that, but we live and action right here calling down. We got people feedback over here too, huh? I can't see your phone crack like my phone. Hey man, we live in studio, man. This is how we do, man. Like it's real, recognized, real. This is what we got going on.
My phone, watch.
But that's Tarnell.
What's up, bro?
Hey man, hey, we live in action. We having conversation. That's what's up. We just having conversation about like real life conversation about real recognized real. And now see, I don't see behind the stage. See my young twin sister.
I am not coming out here. You know I'm shy.
Hey, but now you ain't gotta be shy.
You don't lie.
Listen, you can still listen. I can feel your shoes because they super fly, and you express what's going on about there. That's all I'm saying. I mean, cause we had such a beautiful conversation earlier offline. Like I'm truly learning how to be my organic self in front of the camera. How's the blind spot? What happened? Life was so beautiful. Here we go. I'm still getting used to being myself in front of the camera. So all this stuff going on, like we're gonna allow that to happen. Like why not? We here. We talking about the ego, and we're talking about active perception, and it's fear based and survival mode. That's what we're talking about. But we was talking about you and I had a beautiful conversation about just having self worth. You know, just understanding your value and what you contribute to your team. You know what I'm saying? Team contributions. You know, some things not just in your DNA. And when you involve yourself in alien thinking, meaning which isn't agreeing with your spirit, it's alien, it throws you off. I'm not in here by myself. I got a background. Yeah, so you know, this what we break stay over there where you at. We mobile. Yeah, so this is. I know she camera shy, but this is one of my twin sisters, Alexia. Um, y'all always ask about my sister, so now y'all can see her live in action. She's doing super well. Um, and we were having a conversation about independence, man. Like, how does it feel just to be comfortable in your own skin and just do simple things when you choose to do simple things without being concerned about being responsible for whatever it may be, man. So it just real conversation, man. Like talk to the people, man. Please, the people that I'm talking to myself in here. It's good to hear from a female perspective.
No, we were just talking about, in this time and day, how, a lot of people are comfortable, male and female, just not working, just not knowing how they're going to be provided for from one day to the next. And, I was just telling him that I didn't realize that I have been working since I was 18 without a break.
How old are you now?
I'm 39.
Wow. She don't look like it though. Black don't cry.
So recently I took a break.
I'm gonna take this. Come on, we live in studio.
I was a contractor worker and my contract ended early. So I've been out of work since May. But I do have a job now. But I was just telling him it was very uncomfortable situation for me. It wasn't that I wasn't in a position not to take care of myself. My husband was very supportive in that manner. But just me sitting home doing nothing, I just felt a little loose, like a loser in a sense, because I just was not comfortable just being a burden to someone. And I'm sure that my husband didn't feel that way, but I'm just a type of person where I always want to be in a sense of being able to contribute and not be a burden.
So when you come in right now, the beautiful segue, we were talking about the ego and how it uses like past trauma and different emotions to kind of draw us in. So how much of your ego you think was involved in that thought process? You feel the burden to your husband, you not working, you actually taking a break. Was he giving that energy off, or was that just a perception in your mind that you was been a burden because you wasn't working and he was doing everything because he enjoyed doing it?
It was definitely he did not give that perception. He actually suggested that I take a couple of months off. And I'm like, what? And he was like kind of excited, like, yes, because I'm so independent, probably to my detriment sometimes. And it was something that he really enjoyed. And I'm like, these people on TikTok, they said they was going to lunch, having mimosas, and just going out. They lied. This is not fun. But it was just more of me saying I'm 39. I'm not at the point where I want to stop growing. I'm not at the point where I want to stay stagnant. It was just more of me saying, okay, what is the future going to hold? Because the job that I do is like, it's very small and I've almost been grandfathered in. So it's not a lot of jobs out there for my particular career path. So I was more worried about that in a sense, not really being taken care of. So I think I took that energy and put it in the category of I don't want to be taken care of. Even though my husband was saying, girl, relax. You've been working all your life. You've been holding me down when I, was in a situation or incarcerated, like, just relax. And I'm like, no.
So what? So do you feel like that could have been fear based, or what you think was feeling that feeling, even though you wasn't giving energy out, but you were still receiving that and feeling that.
Because I've always been in a position where I've been independent and I've always been a single parent. So it was more, I was just in a training mode mentally that I gotta work, I gotta do this, I gotta do. So sometimes when you're in a situation, you just become a robot.
Mm-hmm.
And I was in a situation that was foreign to me that I've never been in. So I was so uncomfortable that it became negative.
Wow, that's deep. So experience something you never experienced, it became negative.
Yeah, even though it was a situation where I had so much support. Most people lose their job.
Say that again. You had much support, but you still felt uncomfortable.
Yeah.
Oh, that's deep. Wow, that's deep. So it wasn't on the outside, it came from the inside.
Yeah.
It's your perception of it, the way you was feeling.
Most definitely.
So was it what did you learn from that experience?
I learned that it's okay being uncomfortable, and it's okay if you don't know the next chapter in your book. Sometimes you just gotta let it write itself, and sometimes that's your best chapter.
Ooh, now y'all heard it first right here. Oh man, y'all hear the vocabulary.
Because it all worked out. I was stressing for nothing. Like I said, what I do is not. It's a small industry, and as soon as people heard that I need a job or that I was out of my contract, knocking at my door.
Wow. So it kind of gave you back your self worth and your empowerment once you started back working.
Yeah, and it was so funny because I did land a job, a very good job. It was a company that I worked for previously, but I still had a month or so that I was gonna be off, and that's when I felt the most comfortable.
Whoa.
Like,
what?
Yeah, it's weird. Like, okay, now that I have a job, I can enjoy my time off.
Oh man, I'm glad you said that. So, how long have you? How long were you out of work for?
So since May, and then I started my new job on Monday.
What month we in now? Sometimes I forget.
July.
So May, June. So you was out of work for 2.5 months, and now you got 1 month off. The the 1 month that you got off, now that you got a job, you can appreciate being off.
Yeah, that's how it works. But yeah, it was just me not realizing that it was just gonna be all right. I was in a good position. It wasn't like we were gonna lose our home. It wasn't like we had a savings. I had everything set up to take off a couple of months, but it was just the situation that I was in was so foreign to me. It almost just took me off my rocker. So because it was just a situation I've never been in. Again, I worked since I was 18. I never got fired from a job. If I got a new job, it was like, okay, I finished that job on Friday. I was at my new job on Monday. So it was just like, okay, what am I going to do? Because that's what we're trained to do. Work, take care of family.
So you went from job to job like people do bad relationships. So you never had time to yourself. And then when you did have time to yourself, you couldn't quite appreciate it until you actually got a job and had a month before you go back to work. Yeah. Is that what I'm hearing?
That's what I'm hearing.
Right. So so how much of the ego of fear was based in that? Because you said you had yourself set up for that to take some time off, and when it actually happened, you still felt some type of way.
I don't know if it was ego, but it just goes to show of how much I had to work on being in a partnership with my husband, not being so independent. Like he tells me all the time, like you can't be the man too. And it's not that I was trying, but I was by myself for so long. That's where I just found myself just like whatever need to be done, need to be done. And I thought I was helping, but really it's not. So I'm like, okay, you don't want me to be independent, open this stupid job for you. But it was just more to that and saying, like, okay, I have a partner. It's not just 50-50. He's willing to take this load as well. And to be appreciative, because most people like, well, you gotta do this, you gotta do that. I'm not doing this, you know. So it made me appreciate him even more. That, you know, even when I felt the lowest, he still had my back.
I got your back. That's what's up. Listen, she's super shy, so for her to open up this long, man, listen, it's wonderful. So I thank you for sharing, for being so vulnerable, and I've been trying to get her on this camera for at least 2 hours. I'm exaggerating. It's been a while, but yeah, that's what we're here for. Regardless who show up, we are in the building. Hello, guys. How you doing? You don't have to be so quiet. We're not trying to be super professional. We just pause for a second. So we got other people going on. We gonna show. You got bro still back here, bro. How you feeling about that? Hearing what she's saying.
And listen, every day I get up with my new job and they working me like a dog. And they just gonna get on, I should stay home. But now I'm just.
Yep.
Okay. Cool.
Media is that.
Oh, wow, it's a good room. Okay, I can't see. How you spell it? I ain't say nothing about that. Yeah.
I just saw it.
I can't see this. How you spell it? R-E-C. R-E-C-O. Do it again. Uh-huh. Can you come sit this right? Cause I can't see it. Come this way. So you're not on camera. Come on this side so not on the camera. Right here. So is that right? That's right. Okay. That's why we mobile. We can move the studio. Yeah, okay, no problem. Hey, I appreciate it. Thank you for sharing. Where you want to be, right here?
Thank you.
Yeah, that's a perfect spot. We changed the seat. And Ian, you want to get involved, brother? Please feel free. Right here.
No, Ian want to get involved.
Yeah, please.
Come on, Ian.
Yeah. You want to have a small commercial break?
Come share some of that energy.
I'm gonna give my people 30 seconds.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Sit right down. Get in. Please.
Because it's all about the knowledge in your head.
Oh, he'll wait for that.
All about the knowledge in your head. It's gonna help you wake up from the dead. Tuned in to Namaste Thug live from Electric Dragon 977 West Commercial. Dig. Let me get back in the frame, you guys. So, we encourage you guys to join us each and every Friday right here at Electric Dragon. This is a perfect place to learn meditation, to express issues that you feel strongly about in the community, express issues that you may need help with, or just somewhere to come and hang out, relax, and listen to others and relate from their stories. We also have food and refreshments on deck. So we invite you on behalf of the show, the staff here at Electric Dragon. You're cordially invited to join us on Friday for Speak Your Truth Fridays. Speak Your Truth. Speak Your Truth. And I sent an email out to an officer at Broward County Sheriff Department this morning to allow some work release individuals as well as some individuals who are on supervision to come and participate. So we're not afraid of community involvement. We're reaching out to law enforcement. We're reaching out to the community because this event is all about making a change. So come on down, 977 West Commercial. Hear the sounds of the legendary DJ Special K. Namaste. Thug is in the building, sharing his knowledge. You have a slew of women and couples who have relationship experience and advice that they would love to share with you. You don't have to do any talking if you don't want to. You can just come on down, feel the energy, be a part of the energy. It's a great event. We look forward to seeing you in the building. Peace.
And he's out. So Ian, I know you. No, don't go nowhere, brother. You come back. Okay. Yeah. So I know. One Friday we was here, and I started speaking about how recognizing demons are depression and anxiety and things of that nature.
Well, we was talking about the ego.
Yeah.
We was talking about.
So we were talking about ego. So we understanding. So what's your perspective on the ego? Your take on the ego?
Slide that way. I think it got busy in here that day, but you were saying some things that were really coming through, and that was one of the main. Well, it was a very big change I had to make. A lot of times, the instruction and the counseling and the courses that we get while we're incarcerated are very instrumental. I mean, we're not going to give any kudos to the correctional facility or system, nor the courts, because we profoundly feel that they're unjust in a lot of ways. But the experiences, the people you meet, the things you learn, if you have to do some growing up fast. And so one of the courses I took in there dealt with confronting and separating the ego from the conscious, and also understanding that the ego can disguise itself. It plays a slew of different tricks daily and never rests. So this is something that you have to deal with, be aware of, but learn to control your ego.
Tools with us that you learn. Share tools that you use to help you with your ego.
Well, I think the first part of Thug is recognizing who's speaking and determining if it's the ego or if it's the conscious.
How do you do that?
Well,
how do you do that?
I deduce it by what's being said.
But how do you judge it? Because if something being said by the ego, how do you, even your experience, that make it expert? How do
time allows. Sometimes you can't. Maybe I can't tell immediately because I had a feeling last night about something. I don't know where it came from. I'm angry. I'm pissed off about it. And at that moment, it's very, very hard to determine who's talking. In the moment, and with the emotions flowing, it could be. Remember, the ego is going to disguise itself.
Of course.
Right. So it's not going to say, hey, I'm just the ego, don't listen to me. It's going to come as if your soul is speaking. Sometimes. This is my experience. I can't speak on nobody else's experience. Well, you think that's who's talking. You know what I'm saying? That's not really who's talking, because if you look at the source of what they're saying, is not 100% positive or leading to a resolution.
I was gonna say that.
So
is it loving or empowering?
Right. And so
not, how you tell
when you get a mix in there or something else, that's him putting the disguise. You feel what I'm saying?
I understand.
Because we got to be, if it's pure, it's gonna lead to a resolution. It's gonna lead to peace. You know what I'm saying? But if this so and so, you know, you shunning, you let things come out of your mouth that you may not really mean, or that someone's actions or things that happen may contradict what you are saying. Right.
So how do you give yourself time to analyze situations, make the proper judgment if you angry? So how do you take yourself out of the anger to decide what side is speaking to you? That's the most important part.
Well, if my life is not being threatened, then I'm not in danger, or my child is not in danger, or my woman is not in danger.
But how do you know that if the ego is in charge of that? Because it's going to use something near to your heart.
Well, and
of danger, of survival.
Very, very important conversation. A lot of young people riding the penitentiary bus because they did not determine what was the right action. You know what I'm saying? And so, like I said, if I can't identify immediate danger, then these are just words. You understand what I'm saying? Being passed or.
So that's your question, Tay. So how do you determine if your ego? We were just talking about it earlier. How do you determine if it's your ego or if it's your true self-talk?
If I respond to it immediately, I know it's my ego.
You respond to it
because my conscious self allow me to have the patience to think it through. So my ego make me want to attack mode, make me want to respond to something instantly. That's how I determine if it's my ego. So when I see my ego taking lead, I'm able to put on the brakes.
You heard that? And that's a quick tool. You feel me? Like if it's and we were talking about earlier, don't go that first response to the knee jerk. Don't go in that first response, go in that second response. You feel me? So that's a tool to use. Okay, feel the feeling, but don't go on it. Feel it and then recognize it's just truly what I want. But this is a tool we give you when the ego takes over because it's so easy to get kidnapped. We tell the stories, we keep talking about the old emotions, we almost play the victim role. We are actually magnetizing that lower vibration. We actually feeding that ego because we need trauma and that low vibration drum. That makes sense to y'all?
Yeah, exactly what you said last week. Those powerful words.
Be a part of the conversation.
And we do have a live audience, man, because the main thing is it's a judge-free zone. We want to find understanding to find what we have in common. When we find what's in common, there's not no separation because it's an illusion that we are alone. That illusion of being alone feeds that ego all the time. He thinks somebody trying you, they don't get me, I got my back. All that is bullshit. Once we tap into our heart and get out of our brain, everything is totally different. Because look, 18 days after a child is conceived, the first thing they have is a heart. Everything grows from the heart. So if you coming from your brain, that might be trauma, that might be fear, whatever it is. Come from the seed of where you're coming from. Come from your heart. Fuck your brain and come from your heart.
You reject. You got something to say?
Well, you know what? Well, actually, it's not your heart. It's your brain.
You trying to control the heart,
right? Because some tell you don't do, you go with it anyway. So that ain't truly your heart. Yeah.
Why do you say that?
Sometimes your brain trying to tell you how to do it, how to do it. Damn, I should listen to my brain.
But how you know that's your heart?
Your emotion.
How you know your heart telling you to do it?
Love. Love.
You got different levels of love, different stages of love. People love different.
You love.
I love from my heart.
The love for it.
Say it again.
Heart been broke.
No, my heart wasn't broke. My perception made me think it broke. My heart never been broke. But because it's impossible to break. So I don't.
Was your heart hurt?
Say it again.
Was your heart hurt?
Yeah, my heart hurt, but it wasn't broke.
Brain never been broke.
Say it again.
Brain never been broke.
Oh yeah, definitely. I had 13 concussions.
When it hurt.
Huh? Oh yeah, it was traumatized with bruise. If you look up under.
What's saying up?
Okay.
Heart man had trouble with it.
Right. Okay. We gonna parking lot that. So parking lot doesn't mean that what he's saying makes sense, but it's gonna take us off topic. We trying to get back on topic. You know what I'm saying? So ain't nothing wrong with having the way you feel, but we don't let it take off topic. So what we understand is the tool to recognize when the ego is trying to take over. Because the ego doesn't need a high vibration like optimism, like positivity, like self-esteem. It needs low vibration, like you isolated by yourself. So if you're feeling that way, you're under an illusion. The ego is so sneaky. It's 1/10,000 second ahead of your reality. So it captures your reality. It copies and pastes what it wants you to perceive as a reality, and it give it to you as a program, and you feed on it. And everything you do is to make sure that you're in that right program. But you don't know that because you thinking it's you because you're so close to it. When you sit down and really find out, actually know who you are as self, you can recognize your voice from the lower vibration where they're actually using you. And now you become the master of what's going on. Mastering other people, that's a strength, but mastering yourself, that's true power. So you sit back and recognize every situation, every person, it teaches something about you, and look on the inside and not out, it'll be a different type of vibe. That's what we were speaking about. Take accountability for what's going on and not letting ego and the past situation being a victim talk about what you're doing. Real, recognize real. We know the situation. I try to analyze, make the proper adjustment. You got it, Ian. What's up?
No, I'm feeding off everything you're saying. You're absolutely right. And I told you that night when you first got on the subject, I was like, you have a lot of knowledge, and it makes sense that you have this platform. I certainly hope everyone is tuning in and listening. This brother is making some great points. The conscience already has a roadmap to your life, where you will be years from now, what corner you need to be standing on to meet this person you will run into. So this is why you want to steer away from the mischievous or the tricky one, because you want to be on the correct roadmap. And looking inside your heart, as both of these men spoke about, and following your heart. These are all sayings that the European or the people who say they were here before us, they used the language and they had all of these little sayings. Follow your heart. Be careful what you wish for. You just might get it. These were not just strings of words or strings of sentences. They have a lot of truth to them. And when you look into what this gentleman is teaching and saying, and when we speak from experiences, these are the things that are hidden inside of these sentences and phrases that a lot of people use casually and don't really know the meaning. But the conscious and the ego, when we contrast those two, and when we tackle that subject, we really can do no wrong. There is no wrong answers based on experience between your heart and your mind, because older people on this earth have had more experience, and they know how to manage those two very well. And so I'm a student in their way. I continue to listen, no matter who it is, younger, older, because experiences, they help you master this stuff. And that's why you should be down here right now.
So the next point I want to ask y'all is, once we recognize that we moving off fear or the wrong emotions, how do we release that fear once we recognize it? How do we release that fear-based system that we moving on and forgive ourselves? Because actually when we make mistakes, it shows we're making an effort. So once we learn from the mistake and adjust to it, now what are we going to do with it?
The fear of failure is just not an option.
The fear of failure. Isn't that pressure though, feeling like you can't fail? They say 99.9% of failure is success.
It's not that you can't fail, it's the fear that's not an option.
So how do you release that though? You know that you have to fail, but you in fear of failing. So isn't that another form of procrastination based on fear? Based on what we was taught? But who taught you that? Where you got that from?
Who taught me that? What not to accept the fear?
Yeah, that failure is not an option. Who taught you that perception of life?
Well, I assume it must have been in my first 7 or 8 years of programming, but from my parents, in some shape or fashion.
Mm-hmm.
But
your environment sounds.
Yeah, it is. I was encouraged. My mother, she did what she could to provide the tools and instruments that she felt like could enhance what I wanted to do. She's a single mother, so she stretched it to do that amongst the kids.
And not an option. That was y'all like.
And so
like y'all
I guess a form of gratitude towards her. It's saying that when you went and bought all of this stuff, all this equipment, you know, I can't quit the team now. You know what I'm saying? Because Mama bought these shoes and the jersey. So when you made a commitment to something, nobody really put pressure on me, but I just felt that the form, I knew what it cost. I knew what it cost her, time, work. So I just developed that from that, I think.
So what helping you right now in this present moment release that fear type consciousness that we have that you can't fear?
Well, first I want to say that fear does not have to be. Fear is very useful.
Facts. It's the over fear.
Yeah. There's a quote in one of my favorite movies. I'm not gonna say it, but
why you gonna bring up that?
Well, it's in Batman Returns in the scene where he's stuck down in the hole and he got to make this climb.
Okay.
If y'all remember that. And the old man asked him, how could you, you have to have fear, else how could you fight longer than possible? How could you last longer than possible? Without the most powerful impulse in the world, fear. And so fear of COVID and my son's mother working in a hospital, and one day people dying on the news, and I don't really directly, really, truly know what's going on, but I know she worked where they're cutting people open.
But how do you release that though? How do you release that?
I didn't. That's why I'm gonna finish the story. And so she's coming home from cutting people open. Helping cut people. No, listen to what happened. This is why I'm about to tell you how fear was, see, when the fire is your back, you gotta jump. It's over. All that thinking about we should have ran out of that back. No. Airborne. That's it. Or your ass burn up. I'm sorry, I'm not supposed to. No, that's true though.
Yeah, we want that. So real recognize that's what we want.
I
give
know.
It to her. So run, no cut.
She's coming home hugging my son.
After cutting people open.
After cutting people open every day. Scrubbing in, scrubbing out, and he run to her, and people dying on the news. It's cold. And they ain't cut. I mean, you ain't got to be cut open. They died. Just around. I'm serious. But I'm letting you know how the fear is hiding. You understand what I'm saying? Yeah, because she's in direct contact. You know what I'm saying? So, and now I'm thinking, well, they not really paying enough to be risking my life, my son's life, her life. I mean, because at that time, from what you were seeing on the news, you really didn't understand exactly.
You were head first.
You getting it,
yeah.
But you don't know. But then you know some people who dead. Huh? This happened. Everyone tuning in witnessed this. So that fear made me take what I said. This is And I talked to God about it. You know, this got to stop. This can't.
This heavy on you.
Yeah, I can't do this is every day. I think about this. And so I took what I had and I pulled the moves that I could. And she left the job and we opened this place based on faith going forward, but fear
it was started
of a child getting sick who ain't got nothing to do with nothing. You understand what I'm saying? This is my heart right here now. So now I gotta move. Like I said, the fire at your back. You gotta move now. So, and we didn't know what was gonna happen. But if it wasn't for that fire in my back and that fear, it was just my conscience moving me on down the road map, put me in this position. Well, ain't nobody showing up. Well, let me go get some flyers, you know, because I know what to do. I'm going to go out here and pass out some flyers. And you're going to be at the gas station on this day, and you're going to run into this man. And then this going to happen. This. But see, I don't know all that at the time. It's just fear, but then the strength in the faith too. You understand what I'm saying? So I can step forward. I ain't scared, but now it's time to move because of fear. You understand? So
so fear was your fuel.
Yeah, it has in a lot of instances. It's been you know, life changing. You know?
So it happened for you, not to you. It changed your whole lifestyle then.
Right. Now, how I reacted to that, I think that's the big, you know what I'm saying? Because I could have laid down or just took it however it was given to me or accepted things for where they were.
So let me pause you for a second. I want to appreciate you for showing us your pains. That's part of action in negative situations. You feel me? Yeah. Most people don't show their pain like that. So you took a negative situation and you turned it positive. And the space we're in right now is opened up because of that fear that you had. And then you met him on a specific day with that situation right there, the synchronicity of it all. That's what we're talking about, right?
Right. Let me say
that fear turned to something totally
small
different.
Part.
Fear and faith.
When I was a young person in 1920, I was going around my hometown talking about recycling negative energy into positive, because it was so negative around. Everything was, you know.
What neighborhood are we talking about?
I'm talking about is in Memphis.
Okay.
Yeah. So in North Memphis, it is no upliftment. Well, that's how I feel. But I talked about people perspectives. I remember pulling up, having a conversation with my guys about perspectives. And I also remember talking about recycling the power to recycle negative energy, turn it into positive energy, because I knew I wasn't going to get out of this place or out of danger or to a better situation if I couldn't take what they was giving me, which wasn't good none of the time, though. You know what I'm saying? If I couldn't turn that back around and spin it back out as something good, I knew I wasn't gonna make it. I mean, you know, make it in terms of being productive and not being in jail or dead. Yeah, absolutely.
Wow. So you transmuted it.
I think it started early, and I just got put in a pressure situation. I knew what to do. You know.
But like a diamond, we need pressure to actually cultivate what we have to have experiences to become where we are right now, you know, because without that fight at your back, you wouldn't have jumped. You'll become complacent and still death with that.
I would have been, complacent, you know. Yeah.
Bro, what you got to say about that? You guys want to say something, audience? Please be involved. We do have an audience. It's light, but we got an audience.
Yeah, I'm taking that.
Yeah,
I just want to get some truth.
But then we here for, you know, on the back of real, recognize real is the 30-minute what we're doing right now, so we understand that in real lifetime, what he's growing through right now. Yeah,
it's real, and it's a journey. It continues to be a journey for each one of us. Our journeys cross.
Of course.
We had a lot of great times since this intersection. I met a lot of great people, of whom which are here in the audience with us. So the one spark, one turn, one shift. Oh man, it spawned so much, you know.
going by that faith, man. Like it's, and you gotta remember, we live in two worlds: an invisible world and a visible world. So our thoughts are invisible. We can't goddamn see them, but we sure can feel them. So what are we putting in the atmosphere? The atmosphere full of so much fear. Where he came from, you said you'll get in fear all the time.
Well, it was negativity all the time. But danger, yes, it was fear. You know, because sometimes you may end up somewhere you're not supposed to be. And also, it's not just the people giving negative energy, but you go into so many things. You understand what I'm saying? That, and this is, I talk to young people who are right now, that, you know, you doing 2, 1, 2, sometimes 3 funerals a month. You know, this gonna have an effect on anybody.
So
you know what I'm saying?
So let me ask you a question. What gave you the strength and the power to be in such an environment but still decide to make it out and turn to a party? What gave you that?
I was told the torch through the, and I was speaking truth. I was telling the torch through that city, but it just was a lot of.
Well, what made you do that though? If someone negative around, you turn opposite, but what made you decide to carry a torch in such a dark place? That's a choice that you made internally.
I thought about that a lot of times, though. You know, I look back at elementary school. I look at what point, you know, because this is, you know, I know you guys, y'all, you know, but this is a crazy environment.
Dear to you right now, because I had no idea that you was carrying a torch in Memphis, turning darkness to light.
I definitely was.
And so now that we here, this is what we doing is actually your foundation of what gave you the boost to be here.
Yeah, I don't know. I wouldn't accept a lot of it. I wouldn't accept a lot of it early on. You know, I had examples in the community. I will say that, but I just wouldn't accept. My mother, she you know, she had expectations. That was a major part of it.
Your mom,
she had expectations. Okay. Yeah, she had expectations. And so I think you know, she definitely was a impacted role model. You know.
She helped you just kind of stay grounded and just.
Yeah, because you know, no matter what I was doing, I had to pass. I had to do all the normal stuff that had to make decent grades and all that. If I was, you gonna have a beeper or you gonna be out the street or whatever, she didn't know. Number one, number two, I had to graduate. I had to do all this stuff. This was. You going to college and you come back the next week, you still going. You know what I'm saying? Okay. And that's just, you knew that's what how it was gonna go, and you kind of prepared for it. But the environment was directly against it in terms of like what you was dealing with. You know what I'm saying? Right. And so that made it a lot tougher.
So basically, so even though your outside environment was saying one thing, but it's like your mom is still disciplined and structure within you. So you had something in the house that was actually giving you a gauge of outside what you truly didn't want. That would sound like I'm hearing.
Yeah, she told me early that I was gonna get myself in some trouble. She wasn't gonna be able to get me out. And she said that for years.
And what was your thought when she said that?
I was hoping it wasn't gonna happen, but I you know, couple little lightweight drive-by suspenders. I'm down there 24 hours start happening, and now you got some marijuana charges.
So how long did you hope alive? How long did you hope stay alive? That you hope she was wrong? How long that stayed alive?
Probably about that third time I got arrested when I called home and she told me, you know, hey, honey. I told you. You know what I'm saying? And I knew it wasn't that she could get me out, but I knew we was at the point where now I'm finna let you see. You know what I'm saying? And I was like, oh man. You know, so
she gonna let you feel it. So how did you feel about your mom for allowing you to feel that experience?
Oh man, it was, you know, I had some ill feelings in my early 20s. But later on, you know, I was forced to handle my own business and certain things I needed to do. You know, of course, it was just like, you know, the Karate Kid movie. All this stuff meant something. Wow, what, you know? I thought we were just painting the car, waxing it, you know what I'm saying? But now I'm running a full-blown company, you know, and, you know, I'm responsible for people. And yeah, and then when I'm back there cleaning up, I promise you this lady feel like she behind me still right now. By washing them damn dishes. You know what I'm saying? And so you got that kind of drive. And I really feel like she's going overboard. I ain't gonna lie to you, because you ain't got to tell nobody nothing that many times. You know what I'm saying? But she rolled me. She rolled me. I mean, dog. She rolled me, dog. For real. You know what I'm saying? I'm talking about for real. But to save your children from the streets, you might have to do it. It ain't no telling what the hell you gonna have to do, to be honest with you. So I give, you know, definitely heads off the hook. You know what I'm saying?
So you appreciate it now, looking back at it. You appreciate what your mom was doing in the discipline and programming she put you at the time.
Yeah.
Looking back at it.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. You know, so
wow, that's powerful. How you can change your perspective on what you thought it was, and now you recognize actually what it truly is.
Yeah. And we don't see each other as much because we in different states, but it's, you know, everything, all the drive and the go and on time and cleanliness and all of this is still, you know, I'm still waxing the car. You know what I'm saying? You know, because you gonna do it right. All of these things. You know what I'm saying?
But have you talked to your mom and told her a new perspective on how you feel like she raised you? Have you shared that with her?
Absolutely. I'm blessed enough to have the opportunity to do some things for her, you know, and to let her know that, you know, I appreciate it, and you know, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, that's definitely powerful. But you want to add something else and you twitching, boy?
Just enjoying y'all conversation. You want to add more to it, we can roll.
But I do think you need to implant that in the children, you know, to
but what about ones that don't have that still make it?
Like, that don't have what?
That structure at home that gives them the fortitude and the self-discipline.
Well, those are like the young people that K work with. You know, those are not his kids, you know, but you know, each one teach one, as you say.
Each one teach two.
Each one teach two, as you. I'm sorry. Each one teach two.
Yeah, we
then
that.
You know, the little things he may say. You know, he can't get into all that, obviously, but the little things where he nudged them back to the right side a little bit, what they thinking up here. You know, so we have to try to give back and try to, you know, even with this program and this event, you know, this is reaching out.
I think like nowadays the parenting is different.
In what aspect?
As in, I think we salute the kids too much for doing a lot of stupid shit.
What you mean? Give me some examples.
As in,
salute them.
We glorify them. So you got nowadays you have a lot of, just say fathers. Growing up, when the father wasn't present, your mother played both roles. She was the father and the mother, and did a damn good job with it, especially raising young men. Nowadays, if it's only the mother or only the father, it's a little bit more complicated because the kids are in so much different things, more technology. They're more in tune with what's in the world nowadays. So it's harder to get through to a child than what it was back then. So back then we was looking at our football coaches, our boxing coaches, the hustlers, you know, the athletes. We was looking at them as role models. The pimps, the hustlers, everything, the boosters. You know, they was our role model. Whatever we decided to, you know, gravitate toward. Nowadays, you have so much going on with social media, the TV. The kids finding role models in TikTok. You know what I'm saying? Then the parents are glorifying it because everybody's after the mighty dollar. So they don't mind their kids getting involved doing something that we would have never been allowed to do when we was growing up. Our parents would have never allowed us to do half of the things that our kids do now. That's why it's harder to raise kids nowadays than it was back then. Even though we was kind of hard-headed, it took a minute to get through to us, but we still listened to mom. Because we knew at the end of the day, we still got to go to mom. We couldn't go to daddy. Majority of us couldn't go to daddy. Some of us go to grandma, but she was rougher than mom. So we'd rather deal with mother at home. So nowadays, the kids would tear the parents apart. They'll come between the father and the mother. Because the mother may salute the child and the father may be totally against it. Like me, I'm a zero tolerance dad. And the reason I'm a zero tolerance dad.
You have an example of that? A live example? Real, recognize real.
Like when I say zero tolerance father, it's like no nonsense like father with my kids. So and it's kind of sad because all of my kids have the same personality as me. So I see, like, if you got the same personality as me, you kind of fucked up. Because I did some fucked up shit. So I'm trying to stop you before you know what I'm saying, go down the same path that I took. But by me not being present for 15 years or so long, because I was incarcerated for 15 years, it's like I'm starting all over again. It's like raising a 1-year-old child, you know what I'm saying, at the age of 21, 22, 23. But it's hard for me as a father because I know the jewels that I'm giving them is so important. So I'm already seeing the self-destruction before they even go through it. So for instance, like one of my kids may call and ask for some money and I give her the run through. No. My wife say, why you hard on her? My other daughter asked me for something, I give it to her. The reason I'm hard on one is because I'm trying to lay a foundation. All right, if I continue to provide for you, that's all you're going to know is somebody providing for you. You at a stage in your life where you in a relationship, you have a child. You have to start setting a platform for you and your child, for your household. So if I don't provide for you, guess what? You got to provide for your damn self.
That's so powerful.
Now, I would help you, but you have to show me that you're trying. So if you don't show me that you're trying, then guess what? I'm not trying. Because I don't want to handicap you. It's nothing about no love. I just don't want to handicap you because guess what? Nowadays, how we living, you can be gone tomorrow. So if I handicap you and I'm no longer here to help you, then what you gonna do? I'd rather you go through the tough love now, figure it out while I'm here, and then I'd be able to come give you a hug and say, baby, I got you. Because I see you striving, you trying to do something. That's what I mean by no nonsense.
So you're teaching a lesson.
Yeah,
by not laying the foundation of being codependent.
Yeah, I'm teaching her a lesson because my father wasn't very active in my life. He was around, but he wasn't active. My mom was active. My coaches was active, but not as much. They was only active as coaches. You know, like parents and coaches. So only when I go to practice, only when I play the game, but we need around the clock parenting from mother and father because the mom don't understand the son like the father would. He's a man, and vice versa. The father don't understand the daughter like the mother would. So the part of parenting is very important when you have a man around, especially if you have a son, and a mother around, especially when you have a daughter. It's very important for both parents, at least, to understand one another, so y'all can be on the same page to raise this child the right way. Nowadays, majority of the girls, they rely on child support. The government can't raise your child.
Another form of codependence.
The government can't raise your child. They ain't gonna give you as much money as a real father gonna give you anyway. So it's better to sit down and, you know, come up with a plan to raise this child the right way. Because child support is not the answer. So I say that to say this: a lot of mothers put guys on child support just out of being angry. It's nothing to do with him providing for the child.
Being spiteful.
Being spiteful of the father. It has nothing to do with, but the child is the one that's suffering.
Yeah, 90% of the time.
The child is the one that's suffering at the end of the day. You see what I'm saying? So what I say to this is that I'm fortunate not to be on child support. And it's still hell having a relationship with my kid. and my kid's older, but I'm at a stage where I'm patient. I understand what's going on, and it's gonna take time for them to understand. But I'm gonna still be patient until they come around, and we can sit down and we can talk and we can see eye to eye. Because a relationship, you should deal with that person daily. You know what I'm saying? Parenting never stop. It never stops. Whether you're uncle, you know, a big brother, a little brother, a dad, a mother, it never stops. But,
but it's very rare that we speak, especially teaching our young women how to be independent. That's very key. How you think she's feeling about that?
She in her feelings. Of course she's in her feelings. She was hungry. She needed money for food. She was hungry. So of course she's feeling it. But what I'm trying to do is, they say, it's a saying, they say, if you catch a fish and feed the child, they will only eat for a day. But if you teach the child how to catch his own fish, he can eat for a lifetime. So I'm trying to teach her how to be her sole provider for a lifetime, you know, independence. It's very important for your kids to be independent, especially nowadays. Too much going on.
And I think that's a very effective way to deal with it. And that we want to be clear, because DJ Special K is not a true man or father. He's a very compassionate guy. But what he's saying is, when he says he's teaching them, is he wouldn't. No one's gonna let their child fall to the bottom. But I have to at least, you know, it's effective when you can allow them to take a stumble and be there to catch them, and then teach them how to move, which is basically what he was saying.
Feel the experience.
Right. Feel the experience. And so ultimately, you know, I know this brother personally. I know, you know, he's gonna do whatever for his friends and family. But what he's describing is what I feel like is definitely effective when it comes to raising children and young adults, especially.
Oh, but first I want to say this: the reason I didn't give her the money is because I gave her the money the day before for something else. So I'm feeling like, damn, this baby daddy is a sharp dude. He pimping the daughter and the daddy. You can't pimp the daddy. No, it's real, recognized real. You gotta pimp the daughter, not the daddy. So I'm trying to prevent her. Every time I talk to her about a baby, kid's father, she get in her feelings. So I'm trying to learn how to deal with that, because I don't want to lose my daughter. I don't want to lose the relationship that I'm working on building. So I'm trying to figure out, how do I deal with that part of not losing my daughter but keeping it real at the same time. Now, most of the time, as parents, we're not always right.
Right.
And what I'm learning as a parent is starting to hear my kids out. Because I'm the type, as soon as you say something, I'm cutting you off. That's how I was raised. You know, I was raised with trauma. My mom didn't play. Motherfucker, sit your ass down, close the door, lock the door, fire. It's a wrap. Nowadays, you can't do that. You can't raise a child on physicality. You can't do that. You got to watch out. You can't traumatize them.
Thank God.
That's the first time to traumatize. You traumatize in your household. That's all you know at home with the person who unconditionally loves you the most. So now I'm trying to teach my kids how to love and respect. From the respect point, it's like, all right, I respect you enough not to raise my voice at you. I respect you enough not to put my hands on you. But I'm going to love you enough to teach you that this is the right way to do.
Doing the hard work.
So it's based on love, not fear.
Love,
unconditional
not fear.
love to lay that platform.
Hard work.
Yeah, it's a fear for me because I don't want to see her go down the wrong road, you know, the wrong path. So when she was pregnant, I was asking her all these questions. What you gonna do about a job? how you gonna raise this baby? What your baby father gonna do? And my wife was like, oh, the baby gonna change her. Yeah, the baby gonna change her.
He's doing the hard work.
She was hoping, yo.
She was hoping that the baby changed her.
Hope alive. We heard about your hope, right? Hope my mama wrong. Right.
She was.
Yeah.
I had my baby and my baby changed my baby go get her and they like no.
But you was raised like that.
So I was, sometimes situations make a person have a little fire.
Some people.
So your situation are hoping that it dare the same exact way. Okay, that's understandable.
You got something to say?
We do have an audience, y'all. Like they slowly evolve.
I know that's a sensitive topic, right?
And listen,
Crazy baby mamas, we want you to call 1-800. Call in right now. We want to hear what you have to say.
Baby mamas,
Please call in.
Like, listen, my baby mama's cool because look, I had my first kid, mom kicked me off back to child support so I get my passport. So all baby mamas ain't horrible. That show you that it's about me just being mentally positive about what's going on.
Y'all have 1 point on the board, baby mamas. One point. 1 point up for y'all. No, there's a shout out to all the great women in Florida.
Yeah, it's very possible. So now
I have to say,
we do have some sort of triumph. You feel me?
I really have to give kudos to the women in
Definitely,
Florida.
we got to, bro. So most of the trauma
Because
gave it to them.
You don't know trauma. Let's travel to other parts of the United States, to Black America, and let's look at the trauma that's going on. And we are blessed to be in the presence of the great women of Florida, let me tell you. And a lot of them are from abroad and from the islands, and those values have been shared in South Florida. And so all you single guys, come on down to South Florida, meet your girl with some good values and some oxtails and some turkey. No,
hey, listen, we do not endorse what he said.
No. But great women in Florida, I had to shout y'all out.
We said,
but it can get. I am actually saying leave your wife in Louisiana.
We call you single bitch. We said that. That's what he said.
If you're going through it, get on the highway. No, I'm just joking.
Go through it.
But listen, great women in Florida. I don't want to change that, turn it around. I want to say shout out to all the great women in South Florida. Y'all get my vote for it.
So a question. So a question to us. What changed in you that you start loving yourself to be able to recognize that such great women? Because if you don't see greatest love within yourself, you can't give it. So now you're saying there's great people down here. What shifted in you to be able to give the internal love and outside love?
What?
I feel like I always love myself. I never think I didn't have a great love for myself. I feel like I wasn't getting what I wasn't getting that reciprocation or reciprocity. I feel like I know I ain't perfect. I got a lot of faults, but I got a good heart, and so that's got to be worth something. And the situations I was in, I wasn't getting nothing.
That's real, right?
The situation I was in, and the people I was around, I wasn't getting nothing back. And I wasn't looking for nothing back, but
dang,
I just wasn't getting nothing.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I do.
So yeah, of course Florida gonna feel warm to me. I got great friends, people come in here, show love, shake hands. Ain't petty.
Not to shake hands.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just saying love. The same people not gonna keep coming and showing you love if they don't mess with you. You know what I'm saying? So, and I appreciate them, and so it just felt very good. And I'm not saying that there aren't other places where you can feel this love. I'm just saying, speaking on my experience. And I have lived in the larger black cities though for more than 5 years, each one of them. So I'm not just making up something. Yeah.
But you know what? Us being Floridians, we get so used to how it is down here, and we take it for granted.
Oh, don't do that.
Too late.
Yeah.
So understanding this in it from your perspective, not being here on your outside, you take the picture, it gives a different perspective on once again because we can go 10 minutes to a beach or different vibe.
We talk about that?
We talking about that yesterday.
No,
Yeah.
not at all.
No,
Let's talk about the beach.
If at 19 or 24, 25, I could go out to the beach and deal with some of the things I had to deal with, and I know some of my other friends as well. If I could we could just get in our car and drive 15, 20 minutes and just go out there and just talk about what happened today or what we dealing with at the house, or just stand out there and just look at the moon,
Why the beach you feel like?
That water, and it's got an effect. We know through science and physics, we know it has certain effects, but the effect that I'm warmed up to is just peace and clear thinking and just saying, well, I came this far. I remember, I was down there not long after I got here. I remember sitting on the sand and saying, well, Lord, you brought me this far. You know what I'm saying? So that's not available where I'm from and in a lot of places. Now, there's a geographical thing, but without that release, which is what brings me back, tomorrow gonna be harder. Tomorrow gonna be harder, and guns everywhere, like in a lot of places, and a lot of bad energy, and there's different things you confront. You know what I'm saying? I think Floridians, especially in South Florida, they don't understand the effect the ocean have on the actual people. See, nobody don't see that like I see that. You understand what I'm saying?
So what do you see? Describe what you see. How the ocean
It's still crime. It's still, normal things, but for the most part, it's reasoning. It's a lot of relaxing and lightheartedness, and you can reason with somebody if it's not a outright situation. I don't have situations at the gas station where, he looked at me wrong, and I'm gonna say something to him when he come out. Man, if he say the wrong thing, I'm gonna blow his ass out. This is the mentality, and this can happen. Like, I don't know you now. You don't know this person, but it's people walking around in places where we walk. I'm coming to pay for my gas. He coming to pump his. We look at each other. We don't know each other. And he might say what's up, and I'll respond, or I might not be the day I feel like responding. You know what I'm saying? But it's people living on edge to the point where, they can leave the gun. They can leave the gunplay like that. Just a few words, a few sentences. We don't know each other. You know what I'm saying? And you understand it in places where it's conflict about drugs, or it's conflict about somebody ran out with some money. But see, it's places where people, it's demons walking around with energy that don't even make sense. Like it don't even. It's no logical thing to grab hold to say, well, oh, maybe man, dude shouldn't have did such and such. No, it's no motive. You understand what I'm saying? And so, right. And so,
what's the difference down here then with that same type of situation about being in the beach, close to the beach?
It just has a first of all, the beach brings a certain type of people from all over the world, right? Most diverse city in America. And these people have, I guess you could say, generational and infinite wealth. So, if I'm living in the hood or I'm living with doubt, I can smoke a blunt, and drive right over to where everything in this building or in this community is $4 million and up. And I can sit there and say, you know what? One day, goddamn it, I'm gonna figure out a way. I'm gonna have that house right there on the ocean. That motherfucker right there on the ocean. He come outside, his backyard, the ocean right there, man. That's what we gotta do. And this is a key part. It's funny, but it's a key part of the manifestation process because you can't see it, you can't achieve it, you ain't gonna believe it. You understand what I'm saying? And so in these other areas, the isolation from being able to visualize. See, you ride around so many Rolls Royces, you start to figure out, damn, they must be giving these motherfuckers away. Because there's a Rolls Royce everywhere. But subconsciously, it's telling you, I can get that. Or I can open up me a so-and-so, so-and-so. I mean, everybody got it. You know what I'm saying? Yes. I mean, it ain't saying it's easy now. But I now understand that, dang, I gotta step it up, or I gotta, you know what I'm saying? But I do know it's possible, so I go to sleep with a peace that if I just put my mind to it, I can get there. But when you take that away from a group of people, we take people the ability to dream and achieve. They're gonna turn into them.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I understand.
Right. And ain't nobody gave nobody down here nothing like they don't get nobody nothing nowhere else. But the ability to visualize. And you got some street guys that went off down here because they knew all this was attainable, whatever they wanted. You know what I'm saying? And so they, even from their level, from business to street business, you will notice that in this place, they only was able to achieve what they could see, or they couldn't see over the fence, so they stayed in this box with what they wanted. But over here, where they had vision and perspective, they was able to take it to a whole nother level. You understand what I'm saying? And so, yeah, the ocean and the diversity, you know, all this is man, it plays a major role. It really does.
I didn't want to say the thing over there.
I mean,
No, you're fine. You want to say something, bro?
You know, like what he said about seeing the team, so like you say,
I mean, listen, bro.
no,
you
it's
say like
real.
hustlers like that. We talking about street hustlers.
Right,
Most niggas that like people that's successful at drug dealers,
right,
the CEOs already.
right, absolutely.
It's just they pushing the wrong thing.
Yes, absolutely.
Cause like if you can sell drugs and be successful,
Selling it. It's harder to sell. Like they said online, it's harder to do.
you can't advertise on a billboard.
Right, you can't advertise. Right. Right, you can't say it. No.
So you can sell
You can sell anything.
but when you keep so successful at that, you know
Mm-hmm.
what I'm saying? It ain't about the drug no more, but lifestyle. Drug bring to you. You need more to it than the crackhead.
The lifestyle, right.
You know what I'm saying? Crackhead just want to get out. You want to be able to go and come and do what you want to do when you want to do it. So it ain't about the drug no more. It's about what the drug created.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So
Freedom.
you can do something else
Right.
and have that same lifestyle, you would.
Right.
But what about this? A lot of people haven't been to understand
Right.
the role of a CEO.
Right.
You know
Because they don't know what a CEO really is.
because of that box, what he was saying.
Yeah.
See, when you raised in an environment with no opportunities or no outlet, you only gonna do what you know.
Right.
It's true.
Because like he said, it's out of fear, you're back against the wall.
Yeah.
So you want to survive the
There's
most.
so much fear.
If you show
Because once you get to a certain plateau, you ain't scared when you come. So you're gonna feel like I'm this person.
Exactly.
Now you feel like I ain't gonna do something, but you can only stay when you feel like that.
Right.
You're right.
You ain't gonna go like a lot of niggas in the city. You ain't going that kind.
Right.
Because
Right.
ain't no
Right.
It ain't no really about you scaring nobody.
No.
Ain't gonna be comfortable over there.
Right.
Comfortable this side of the track.
Yeah. Come on this side of the track. Yeah, that's true.
So, you know.
But what's inside of the environment on this side of the track may be better. You know, like I tell my partners all the time, hey man, come down here. This was the best coach guys. They get trophies for the best down here, dog. You know what I'm saying? You in the wrong place. In a little town where they running every damn play, come through. Because you can't see the bigger. Yeah, you want to win, but our winning ain't going to jail. You see what I'm saying? That's all, you know. So this kind of, you know.
So let me pose you a question. So, like you said, you in the game, you do what you're doing. I start doing this if I can find some place there. So instead of being a fear of me losing the lifestyle that I have, that should be based on the fear too.
Yeah.
You feel what I'm saying? So it's not just a physical fear of my life. It could be a fear of me losing. I can spend money when I want.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
That's not the life now.
Ability to do what you want to do when you want to do. That's why a lot of cats, they go to prison. More so the fed. It's like you have time to really sit back and find something to replace that drug dealer or whatever. You're still that same person.
No doubt. You change your product. No doubt.
You change the person.
Yeah.
Like now, you know, kid on bed, you know, I don't know if he in the bed, but I went, you know, I still sell stuff.
No doubt.
But it ain't that.
Right.
And I feel like I'm successful because I make a nice piece of check.
That's right.
They make it like, you know.
Yeah. That's entrepreneurship though.
It's still an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
Right.
It's just that when you can try something different,
Right.
it's gonna work. You gotta get that same energy, that same passion you gave it go.
Right.
Cause when you get that dope, I gotta sell it because I ain't got but 2 rocks.
Right.
The 20 gonna make 40, 40 gonna make 80.
You gotta go
If I
like
catch
that.
it right lifted, 80 gonna make 200.
And so you
It's
money
still
benefit
160.
too. And mathematics.
But I'm gonna show
For
you
another account.
now I'm gonna show you a difference though. Say you're a rob on the street, okay? And then when you get in prison, you no longer robbing. Why you think that happened? No, you're a notorious robber on the street, but when you get in prison, you're no longer robbing. Now you can do this. You can steal. Some dudes do rob. Now,
Some dudes do. And some dudes don't have the same power.
Right.
They can't break the feel.
Right.
Okay.
In a person enough, they get out here. Because
Right.
you don't have the same tool.
Okay, let me ask this. Now I know you've seen this. A lot of dudes that hustle on the street, when they get in prison, they no longer hustle.
They beg.
Whether it's coffee, cigarettes,
Beg.
making beds, cleaning clothes, they become beggars.
Beg.
Or they become junkies.
They give them the drug. Something.
Why is that?
Weak.
Hey, that's a sign of weakness.
I'm gonna go weak.
They want to escape.
Cause anything you got, I'm gonna say most thing that you can get on the street, you can give them the change.
Absolutely.
Exactly.
But it is a hustle though.
It's a way to do it.
It's another hustle.
Begging.
No. I thought you said they went from selling coffee.
I said instead of selling
Oh,
coffee,
instead of.
they
Oh.
beg.
So cheap.
So what I think,
So they start begging. Oh, I didn't
what
get
I
that
think
part.
is one of the main
Big.
factors of that is a lot of dudes that was hustling on the street and they get in prison, they no longer hustling. I think they become a part of the environment. So they hustle because they're in that type of environment. You know how you grow up and everybody hustles. So you don't get penalized for hustling. So it was easy to hustle because it's 10 of us on this block. I think I'm gonna outlast you. You know what I'm saying? You'll go to jail before me. That's the fear. So now when you're in prison, I hear a lot of dudes say, man, I ain't trying to go to confinement. Jail inside of jail.
Right.
But you threw bricks at the chain gang out here to get 5 years in prison.
And like niggas say, I ain't working for them, right? I wanna go in there and be trustee.
I'm
For free. For a cheeseburger, cause they put me
Every time I mop this floor,
I ain't you know trust.
I mop it with I trust. They had to clean the whole damn jailhouse for a
So
cheeseburger.
you think that's still the fear of the one and done?
See, with me, I was different. I still had pride in prison.
Yeah.
They tell me to clean up the bathroom for a peanut butter sandwich. No, wrong nigga. That's what I tell her. Wrong nigga. But I think about those who didn't have, that were less fortunate. So they had to clean up because they needed that peanut butter sandwich. But I felt like this. In prison, it's just like you have over 1,000 inmates. And out of 1,000 inmates, probably half of y'all think the same.
Here comes cigarettes.
Not one person overthinking the next, right? So this is why they say only the strong survive. It's who willing to take the approach of doing what's next. You understand what I'm saying? Because we thinking the same, but we waiting on somebody else gonna do. Let me see if my homeboy that just like, all right, the baddest one slap my hand. So let me see who's gonna jump out there first.
He can do it, I can do it.
And that's the reason that I really don't have a lot of sympathy for a lot of people, because I done been in that situation. And I know you can survive in that situation. You understand what I'm saying? So when I came home, like, I have zero tolerance for people that beg, because how can you let somebody be gone from their family, gone from this environment for so long? Get back out here, no freedom. Get back out here, you can figure it out. And you know why? Because you continue to apply myself. You continue to apply yourself. You know how easy it is to say I ain't working no more. I'm going right back to what I've been doing. But guess what you're doing? You're putting your family before that. Because if it was just you, you'd probably say, fuck. You understand what I'm saying? First. So now we in a situation where we got to think for others, because guess what? Being incarcerated helped me understand not being involved in my kids' life was taking a toll on them, on my mother and myself, and on my kids' mother. So being, all right, how can I consider myself? I grew up in the heart of the city. So how can I consider myself a real nigga if I'm not playing the real part of being a real dad? So I'm being a real nigga because I'm in the streets. I'm willing to do this. I'm willing to knock a nigga out. I'm willing to sell dope. I'm willing to throw iron. But when it comes to provide for my child, I'm no longer real.
Making an excuse that I'm in jail. So a lot of niggas speak up.
I'm playing on blind eyes and deaf ears that I can't still provide for my kids. So I'm using being incarcerated as a crutch and an excuse not to be a father to my kids. When you're incarcerated, that's when you have the most time to be in tune with your kids. You can write. You may not call as much, but you can write. And I learned that some people understand better through writing and some people understand better through talking. So like I always tell, I got a lot of homeboys that's incarcerated, and I always tell them, don't be a burden to your family. You know, because a lot of people, what we would do, we would feel like people owe us something. Oh, that's my homeboy, he's doing good, he should send me a bet. He should send me some money. And I always tell them, if I send you something, it's out of love, it's from my heart. But you have to be a man. Once you show somebody that you want better for yourself, then other people gonna do better for you. But if you always calling home, begging and asking for something, people got responsibilities out here. Especially if you out here being a man. So you said telling me I'm gonna take from my family mouth to feed you, while I know they're giving you 3 meals a day.
7 days.
You eating better than me, really. I don't eat 3 times a day. You feel what I'm saying?
And you get plenty of rest.
So not to get off topic, I was just saying that I feel like a lot of people become a part of their environment. So that's why when you're in prison, you become a part of whatever you allow yourself to be around. Because if you're around a hustler in prison, guess what? You're going to figure out the hustle and you're going to hustle, because the hustler would not even allow you around him. Because you're going to feel like you're a junkie, or you're going to become a dead weight. You dead weight, I'm not carrying you. You considered a peasant.
Right. In my way.
That's like right now, every dude that I hang out with now is dudes that I grew up with. Everybody that you see me with now is dudes that I grew up with. And the relationship was built on respect and love. And they'll tell you the same thing. Any one of them that's not doing as well financially or spiritually or physically, I'm going to give them the tools that I use to be financially stable or spiritually stable. And I'm still working on being spiritually stable.
So I'm gonna ask you, bro. So what helps you maintain your anyone y'all mental health? You know, type of uncomfortable situation.
What, being incarcerated?
All of it.
Oh, repeat that question.
What helps you maintain your mental health in the ups and downs and being in prison?
I had a good support. more girl, more boy.
Took a lot off.
It made it not easy, but easier. I seen some dudes that ain't had nobody. Like, just me. So I'm doing this, I'm doing that, whatever. And I used to try to make it easy, like, I'm sitting on money, or she tell me she got to hold that, whatever. I knew how, if I get what I'm going, I can make miracles for me. Because it's easy for me. Right. It's just like I think you.
Yeah, make
it hard.
Yeah.
But for me, I'm gonna find a way. So
your support
me, my support can help me. But also just knowing can't go down. I can't give up. That ain't how. That's to me. People say it's easy. That's the hard way because it's gonna bother me when I gave up. It's gonna make me feel like you gave up. You got things to do, and it's tools you can use. It's stuff you can do because if you go and read the right book, you can help somebody else. You can charge them for that. If ain't nothing but a $2 tuna for the show. Like there's ways around being broke. I hear anywhere.
But isn't that a mentality that you have? Because you the dude can be in the same cell, but you respond to something totally different, and you hustle.
That's true. That's true. It's just all in.
He raised the hand.
You said mentality. You said mentality.
So there's something already in you.
Yeah.
And then when you was in prison, it just came out of you because I had to, like, my back hit the fire.
Yeah. So I gotta jump. Are you saying? Jump.
And one thing, us as humans, we're going to brink of extinction, we will evolve. Go ahead, bro.
But I realized this. See, when you incarcerated, it's just like being in the military because you were away, you were in an uncomfortable environment. You was taken away from things that you was comfortable with. So you no longer walk the same. You no longer talk the same. You no longer sleep the same. You know what I'm saying? So you're not the same being. Everything changed.
You were alien pretty much.
From the moment that you incarcerated, they strip you of everything. Immediately. When they tell you to get naked, that's it. And you got another man around you, right then and there, guess what? And you spreading your ass cheeks, right then and there, you realizing, I don't even own myself.
So they operate on Jimmy Crow where they break you on ripping.
Of course, they don't already broke you mentally.
That's the first step then.
It's the first step.
You naked.
This is how they know I can control you.
Yeah.
Because as soon as you walk in, do this, do that, do this, do, and your mom could have told you to do that, and you wouldn't have.
Right.
It show you how the mind works. But I was going to say this, like, see how you say, oh, how you escape this, and I be like, most people be like, oh, I was able to hustle, I was able to get money. I realized being incarcerated, money wasn't the happiness for everybody. Money wasn't the answer for everybody. People was going through, instead of financial struggles, spiritual struggles, real mental issues. You dig what I'm saying? So, like, being able to understand someone that actually have a mental problem and someone that's faking a mental issue. It's totally different. It's night and day.
So what gave you? Because that's the time you got the spirit of discernment. How do you recognize you had the ability to? Because you didn't have it in prison. It just had to be tuned in more when you was in prison with that.
I've been around it all my life. One of my neighbors had a mental issue. But I'm gonna tell you one thing I know about a humble spirit. No matter what a person goes through, they know that spirit. Because we dealing with the physical. You understand what I'm saying? So when you deal with the physical, that's the only way you know how to respond is when you deal with it. But when you're dealing with the spirit is not ill.
Right.
The spirit is not mentally ill. The spirit is not down. Like the physical, it's the illusion. So how I understood how to deal with it is how I allow my spirit to interact with their spirit. You understand what I'm saying? So when my spirit interacted with their spirit, and I knew it was real. I knew that they really had an issue just by dealing with them and watching how they respond to certain things.
So the tool you use will let your spirit interact with their spirit.
I would let my spirit interact, so I wouldn't force nothing. I know how, I'm a man. So if you're looking at me a certain way, I already know how I'm gonna respond because I'm standing as a man. So if I know he's mentally ill, why am I looking at you a certain way? You understand what I'm saying? So now, if he bump against me guess what I'm gonna do? I won't respond, but if you bump against me, I may respond a certain way because I understand he have no control of what he doing. So now eventually his spirit take over and his spirit deal with mine because he in prison. So you expect somebody to bust you in your head, stab you, beat you up. So when you don't do that, now the spirit let you know that this is a familiar, it's very familiar territory right here. I can deal with him on a different level. Now they open up to you a different way. You understand what I'm saying?
All help you feel safe. They kind of come out of fear. They kind of more in.
Are you comfortable? You comfortable? You understand what I'm saying? Because we dealing with out of, you know what I'm saying, like on a spiritual level. But over time I had to learn to deal on that level. But I said that because like I used to find, you know, how I escaped a lot of mental situations in prison was by helping other people.
You escape your mental by helping somebody else.
I help people escape certain situations just by giving them like my life experience. You got to remember, you got some people been incarcerated since 13, 14, and they 60, 50. So they never had the chance to say, oh, I played high school ball, or I had a girlfriend, or I got a driver license, I drove a car.
Wow. So we take for granted.
You understand what I'm saying? I used to, how I escaped, we call them the OGs. I go talk to the OGs, the old coons, you feel me? And I would bring them joy because I know they've been going 50, 30, 40, 60 years. So they can't even relate with life as it is right now. You know what I'm saying? So what happens is I'm helping them involved. I'm helping them. So to escape my reality, I help others. Service. Because it was easy for me to get money. That I feel like that's natural for me. You know what I'm saying?
I did something different then.
I did something that I'm not used to doing.
So you gave some of that money come by. So basically, it sounded to me that you was in prison and that you made other people your ministry.
And that helped me escape prison.
Helped you escape prison.
On a mental level, I escaped prison. I did 15 years, and if you put another dude next to me that did 15 years, and we sit up here and talk and communicate, you will see the difference. Absolutely. You will see the difference.
Some people be in boxes.
Majority of people, not everybody, but
a lot of people let themselves be in that box.
Because
you really be there.
I won't ask y'all, but what stopped y'all from being in that box? That's what I'm saying. Like,
see, I understood. I never wanted to be a product of my environment, even when I was growing up. So I always tried to do anything to escape it. So when I was in prison, I was determined not to become a product of that environment of prison. You understand what I'm saying?
You still were free, so you didn't have to capture your mind.
Everything they taught us to do, I did it my way. Make your bed up like this. I still made the bed up, but the way that I wanted to make the bed up. When I first went to prison, they used to give you a handbook. And they tell you how to make up a bed. Your collar, like in the military, corner fold, all that. Your collar had to be the length of handbook. I cut my handbook and made mine smaller. So when they come around, all they do is look at the handbook. So just like this sitting here, they look at the handbook, oh, it's the same size, you good. So when I cut mine, it's the same size, oh, you good. Yeah, you good. So guess what the dudes started doing? Cutting there. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? I broke myself out of certain things, but respecting what they were saying at the same time, because I see how it affects people.
You still apply your mind. You would absolutely think you're being present.
Because when you go to prison, what they do is the same thing they do now. They throw you a basketball. They throw you a football. You see what I'm saying?
But I heard them say something about reading. Now that's a choice.
Reading is a choice, of course. Listen. Now, the Department of Correction, DOC, Department of Correction, and in the Bible says, any man that dislikes corrections is stupid. Any man that dislikes corrections is stupid, right?
You said, who said that?
In the Bible.
Okay,
that's in the Bible. Department of Correction. It's up to you to correct.
Right.
All the tools are there. You got the law librarian. You got the library, the general library. Yeah. You got dudes that's on the yard, that's on the rec yard, that's renting and selling books. You understand what I'm saying?
Renting and selling books?
Yeah, of course. You can send me a book. And you'll realize it.
That's a hustle.
You know what I'm saying?
Just that simple. From books on deck, huh?
Yeah.
It become a hustle.
But you might get to a certain type of book.
Right.
You might have level 1 and level 2.
Yeah.
Okay, look here, send me up.
Part 1, part 2, part 3.
So that hustle and shit kick in, like you change your product.
Every institution has a school.
A school.
Yeah, have a school where you can graduate, get your GED. They'll trade your GED in for a high school diploma. You can even go to get college degrees, right? Trades. You got trades. CDL. That's why a lot of drivers are ex-companies. And the feds got more than us, but you do all that.
So it's a choice.
Drive, CDL, barber school, masonry, all that.
So basically what you said is a lot of knowledge unborn then, what you said.
It's a lot of knowledge. It's just that, that's why some people say prison saved me. They don't mean it as in always I would die on the street.
Right, but it gave them something.
It gave me
Replace that with.
Replace it,
Yeah,
but I was doing wrong.
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, couple of years, I know started business right in English. They had so, you know, somebody, you know,
But
but
be it
it started. You know what I'm saying? Got it going. And out here, there's so many distractions.
Distraction.
Because
People depend on you. Imagine you tell them, oh, got it, no mind. You got to give them nothing.
Different pressure out here.
Yeah.
So that's a good segue. So you survived prison, right? But then you get out here and you got people that depend on you. That's once again that goes to your mental. How do you adjust to that? Because then you worry about yourself. I hate to worry about other people. That's an adjustment. How did you mentally adjust to that still function and maintain it?
A lot. I was locked up. My kids still depend on me. I still have to make phone calls. I'm sneaking on the phone. Go get something. Drop them off here. I'm making ways to get there, and hey, $8 over here. Got to go get taken over, bro. This I just get to the back and you can sit on it from bed. You know, ain't all that sympathy so you can get it out your heart and say, you know, whatever. But some people, hey, it's gonna take 42 days, but I'm gonna send it. You know what I'm saying?
It's a process.
I send it in the morning, man, I get it for 2 months, but it's coming.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Versus other side, you know, it's over with. Like I said, I had good people.
That's important.
Good people, you know, like home. No, I'm home. No, I look like, did certain stuff. He helped get my kids' school clothes one year. You know what I'm saying? Stuff like that. But it was more like if it was him, I would do it.
Right.
He knew that. You know what I'm saying?
It's a team.
Right.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
That's definitely important.
So that was like, with me, like I say, just the support I had from not just my parents, but people that I dealt with on a daily basis. I had people that I looked out for me. And I ain't get caught up in that. They ain't see nothing. I ain't caught up in it because you don't owe me nothing.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Whatever I did, because I did. I ain't do it because when this day comes, you're going to have to come back home. You got to be. You know what I'm saying? I ain't speak on it, talking about it. But at the same time, I was locked up. I didn't ask for money, but I did want, what's up? I had phone, had text, had everything.
Right.
But a lot of people do that.
Give me some energy.
You know what I'm saying? Just tell me what's happening. Hey, what's going on? You know, let me know you good too. Ain't what you checking on me so much. Make it like, you know, just a conversation.
Right.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
That's
I
so
can get
important.
pictures and everything.
That's so
You know?
important.
You know, you come home and it's like, you already got it. I don't even know how to say no for 15 years. But because you go away thinking you got different, you know, until you got it already. Mess them up, they thinking. But you ain't thinking that you ain't been talking to me. What you want to talk about now? What you doing? I ain't did but 20 months. What you doing 20 months? You know what I'm saying?
So that shift in your mental was you talking to me then. We're gonna talk about now.
When I see we cool, ain't no beef. But what is the phone conversation? What is that all about?
Wow.
You know what I'm saying?
So no, we talked to him where he's saying that the lack of communication when we was in we were talking about mental health. And him saying him having the same number for 15 years and he get home and people say, "What's your number?" He said,
I
"I got it."
my DC number, L36.
He told me cell phone number. So he said, like, when I see you, why you want my number 9? Like, you ain't talking to me in so long, so I'm talking on the phone for. Like, ain't no ill beef for what we're talking about now. So they understand mental health, how to maintain that.
It's like, I feel like certain people, they know that, like, I know Jay a certain kind of person. So he goes to good time, whatever. I know he was gone. I talked to him a few times while he was good. He doing good. I'm sorry, same old day. So he come home, I know what type of person he is. He's not gonna really be hurting for nothing. He's not gonna really be letting himself fall off. So it's like, if I was the type of person to wait for him to motivate me to do something, that's what some people do. You come home, gravitate and pull off you. I just call it Wi-Fi. You know what I'm saying? I need him to keep me going.
Wi-Fi.
You know what I'm saying? I need him to keep me going. You know what I'm saying?
Write that down.
Wi-Fi. I can't operate. You know what I'm saying? Everything dead. No service. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? But if I don't allow nobody to steal off my service, I got all my power to me.
Wow. So we start talking about computers now. So
that's what it is. Because you're being programmed. It's all on you. How you program or whatever you do. You know what I'm saying? And I know, like I said, they was that person that always upbeat. I ain't never seen him like sad. I just been mad.
Yeah, but that's
sad.
That's an S, not an M,
Right. I never seen him. You know what I'm saying? So you got certain people that wait you come home and all of a sudden they get rejuvenated off your juice.
Wi-Fi, nigga.
Wi-Fi. You know what I'm saying? So if I don't allow that.
Wi-Fi, that's a t-shirt.
Oh,
Wi-Fi is
I think I'm saying, like motivate tell quick. I don't do it. I don't give a no jump. That every day I call my play. I can hear the jump. That run my back. So now if I do it my back, I'm weaker than me. I'm weaker than me. Right. You know what I'm saying?
You take it with
that's super OG.
My mama told me that. You know what you ride my car, you give it to me. Can't do it. I tell them, I'm more real. I can't do it.
Facts.
You know what I'm saying? So it's just like when people all of a sudden, what's the number? Same number. I know I would think how to deal with different kind of people all my life. Like some people say, well, you strange. Because I know people don't like me. And I still, I'm trying to pull up on. Because I don't like this like you.
Right.
As long as you respect, I can respect you. But you sit behind my back, I don't care. That ain't my business. And I don't care if I don't ever tell you. You gotta like me. So what? I'm always gonna like me. You know what I'm saying? But you ain't respect me. You know what I'm saying? So it's stuff you can do whatever you want to do. You grown.
And you said something earlier that kind of piggyback on this. When I asked him, what helps you love yourself? He said you always love yourself.
Because I was talking. Mama told me I was little boy, I would have Jason to call me big fake teeth. I had big teeth.
Big
Mama
teeth.
said, "Get what? So you got big teeth and you bite them there."
So she gave you a tool.
She always taught me to love me. It can't. One day I'll never forget. I was a little boy. I took pictures. I don't know if it was Easter or whatever. Ain't had no. Nigga, I there waiting on to take pictures. He laughing at me.
Yeah.
Well, why you ain't laughing? Why you smiling? God damn it, she cussed me out. And she told me, what am I going to say? They say you snag it too, so. Everybody knows you snag it too one day. Either the beginning or the end.
Either
somewhere,
way.
you gonna make a thing. She almost told you.
So that your mama gave you that. And your mama taught you how to love yourself.
Big ears, I can hear you better. You got big feet, I can walk better. You got big feet, I can bite. You know what I'm saying? It was always, whatever it is you think is a flaw, turn it into a good thing. You know what I'm saying? Stuff with me. I've been loving me forever. I can't think of a time I didn't love me. I can't never say, well, I started loving myself. It came.
It was a still.
I don't remember when I didn't love myself. I always loved me. You know what I'm saying? I grew up like I said, people grew up on survival, grew up on love. I ain't gonna lie, I grew up on both. You know what I'm saying? Because my daddy stayed around the corner from us. And not to say he wasn't there, because he was. He just wasn't household. I can always get my wife that I need. And it was never, I ain't got it. It was never, no. Never. Home, okay, I ain't go get that here, go in there and cook something. He always try to tell me how to cook chicken. To this day, I can't cook chicken. But you know, I grew up on both. You know what I'm saying? Survival and love. It was like, I want you to learn how to do something wrong. But I love you enough to show you how to do certain things on your own. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I didn't quite get it, but
you still exposed to
what I can cook, I know how to cook certain stuff.
But not that chicken.
I know how to eat.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So if I want to eat, I know how to go in there. Something with me. You know what I'm saying? I can't cook chicken, but I cook hot dog, baked beans, big wings, you know, eggs, you know. So I just feel like you say, certain mental things you grow with, you come in, you're in certain places, you come out.
Yeah, no doubt.
Because it's already there.
You were playing it in you, but you invite. So you had an outside environment, but your home environment was still loving and supportive. Right. And that's very key to be able to love yourself. Most people are in that type of environment. Our environment is 76% of our behavior. Y'all inside environment was so unconditional love. So God, when you're with you, that's good. And for you to still use that and then still come out like it never went in, like you guys are grateful, like how such a blessing that is.
I love that. Like I said, I told Mom before she passed, she used to always tell me, like in these areas, don't cross 6th Street. I can feel a lot of mental out. Don't cross Sunrise. But some way I had to get on the other side of that road. I had to see what's going on. I had to see, because she kept on going, it was she's wrong. That's something. Well, I can't go over there. Right. I got over there and Lord,
you see why now?
Look, first got to go over there by myself. I get a little fight.
First day.
But I love it.
Yeah.
Because I ain't known.
Oh, man, I love it. Got your win, huh?
Then I get right. Jay. Yeah, Tony, all of them. And it's like, oh, who's going to beat you up? I'm telling you, crazy. They're going to beat me up. It's 100 niggas that I'm going to win.
Right.
But except for like, off the bat, it was like, you know, love. You know what I'm saying? Everybody like, I gravitated to, you was doing wrong to enough, but it was all love. You know what I'm saying? They basketball, food, slap ball, you know, whatever. Bad stuff just came with just
territory.
The environment. The environment.
We are there. That's where y'all was at, though. But what else would give y'all the experience to be where you are right now? If you look at it, it was life experiences that gave you that. Yeah, and you had to. And now you got so much more to live forward to and show people like, look, if I can change, you can definitely change.
Right. I can make you do it. You know,
that's
better than you.
Now we learn about pictures, so we have to paint the picture that we want to see. So by listening to y'all stories, I'm definitely realizing that y'all actually oil painting and not water painting. The water painting, nothing but drop a rain in it, it's deteriorating, but oil painting, it can withstand that. So the mental health aspect is that's my main thing, mental health. And y'all was in a physical prison, I was in a mental prison with me feeling what I was feeling. So prison is a prison, regardless of what it is. But to overcome that and maintain that, and then having a functional conversation. And you're not institutionalized where you're getting over aggressive or defensive about something that's simple, you know what I'm saying? So that's powerful, especially relieving the stigmatism, because most people come home with it.
Yeah, something like you gotta go back.
Yeah.
They don't know how to make it.
Period. They gotta think. Most people know how to think.
It's the pressure.
Yeah.
You know,
Everything given to you. Right. Lights on, water, food.
Even when we come home, we had orientation to come home. Say, all right. Go ahead, bro. Go ahead. You can't go to the house. Mama house. But in that, you got to worry about that.
Do a podcast for us. You know,
you know, you wake up and that's it. Everything is. You schedule everything you got to say. But I hear you can't always go on that schedule. You may get work. Or know, your person that cook your food might be at home. Like, that's what they're about. Well, it's so much responsibility. That's why I told you that it's more stress on the street than it is here.
Facts. I always say that.
Now, only time I would say we got stress enough is like, when I was in where my kids still thought daddy could do certain stuff, so I had to at least try to do it. If I couldn't get it done, I had to cost me stuff. And I was thankful that I had those people.
Remember,
you know what I'm saying? I still call Jordan needs to survive Friday. You know, it's Tuesday, but it's Thursday. You know what I'm saying? So like me personally, I pride myself on being, I ain't gonna say real, I mean everybody's real. It's just your characteristics make you a different type of person. So I ain't gonna say real, I just pride myself on being genuine. Everybody
accessible, something still accessible.
Everybody that knows me know I'm the same person. Yeah, you know, whatever. So I love myself for being a good person. Like, they know, you don't even know who. Like I never change. Even though I might not have a date, you ain't gonna know because I'm just carrying myself the same. I'm gonna still be me. So it's like I love it about myself. I can adapt to this situation. And that community.
That's powerful, man. Bro, anything you want to say before we sign off on this thing here, man?
Tell them to come in live. The live experience is so much better.
They can't hear you. Hold on 1 second, y'all. Look what y'all missing, man. Let's get it in the flesh.
Yeah, y'all make sure y'all come in next week live every Friday, Speak Your Truth. We're gonna start having like show your talent or live performance. We're gonna have an ink off where 2-3 tattoo artists come in and then they show their talent also, where they do a couple of tattoos. So y'all don't miss that experience. That's an experience also.
We're gonna start that.
We probably gonna come in like 2 weeks. So we're gonna have an ink off in like 2-3 weeks, but y'all make sure y'all come. We need more females involved because we're trying to feed positive energy into the community. So in order to do that, we need people that's a part of the community to come and participate. It's very important when you come and share your experience if you want to, or you can hear our experiences. Bring someone. We have drinks. We have whatever you need. We have food. Whatever you need, just come out. It's a free event. You can come from 8 to 12 each and every Friday. Speak your truth. We'd like to hear a lot of different perspectives from women and guys also. But we appreciate y'all for tuning in with us. We'll see y'all next Friday. I guess. What time?
And before next Friday come, we want y'all to have a good cry. All right? That's what we want you to do. Release that bullshit, man. Release that pressure. Hey, this Namaste Thug, True Heart on the God. And these two people that been riding with me, man, hey, boy, y'all like two good spare tires with one in the trunk. I appreciate you. Hey, man, for real. I don't know where they at.
They've been riding the whole 4 hours.
What? They have.
They've been locked in the whole 4 hours.
Yeah, we appreciate that, man. Started with 2, then with 20,000. Namaste Thug, man. We here. Peace.